when it looks just slightly off, it makes me feel uncomfortable and bad. And too much of this movie made me feel uncomfortable.
This makes me feel bad.
The Flash, uncomfortable and bad.
Yeah, ... Nick McFly.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 117 of Press Any Key. I'm your host, Pat Naparano. You can find us at all social media below at pressantykey.tv. You can also not only join our conversation in the comments, but on our Discord. Links for that are below. With me, as always, are my co-hosts. Give it up for Nick McFly.
That guy.
Hello.
Give it up for Herc Burke.
Herc Burke.
It's my call now.
Honestly, if you want that,
I like how you
should keep
how you assume the position. You're like, Herc.
You have to say that
you have to say it with your
strongly.
chest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, do some
And on the ones
flex.
and twos, everyone give it up for Liz.
Hey,
Hi.
Ginger.
So we're only talking about one topic this week. There was obviously there's some big shit that happened with like streaming. There's the $100 million Kick deal. Amaranth went over to Kick. All that's cool, but that's rich people just playing with their money, and I don't really care to talk about that. However,
talking about the new trailer for the Squid Games TV show that's not the TV show.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
it's
it.
a game show, right?
It's a game show.
Okay.
Mr. Beast is hosting.
He's sentencing 100 people to death.
What are we?
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the
Talking
Flash?
about rich people.
Talking about the Flash, right? That's what we're here for. Yeah. So this is the only thing we're going to talk about this week. And I guess we'll just jump right into it. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So let's just.
Can you give a little background?
Yeah,
for people
yeah.
who might
So-
not be.
If you haven't been following along with us, then you know that this has been a long time coming. This film has had 9 release dates. It has had multiple page 1 rewrites. Bring
Bring up the timeline.
it has had.
It's had a lead star, start a cult.
I mean,
Kidnap some people.
dude, I had so
Multiple
many
crimes.
things in the can that I wanted to get together, but you know how like sometimes your day just gets away from you. So actually,
You
I'll read it
download
from
a
here.
terabyte worth of video games.
Okay, that wasn't what I was talking about, but okay.
Pull up the graphic. I feel like it's a good
Um,
illustration.
I think the graphic is just the.
Yeah.
Wah,
You right
wah,
click
wah.
that bitch.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. So here's a tentative.
Here's the timeline of events for this movie.
So the guy who's currently directing Deadpool
No,
3
no,
was.
wait, I got nothing on screen.
Man, we're batting 1,000.
All right, so this is a listeners only episode.
Yeah.
We'll run it down. So we got a bunch of people with too much money on the screen.
So the first director is Sean Levy. Now he went on to direct Free Guy. I'm Ryan Reynolds and I'm on Netflix. What's that movie?
That was Free Guy.
No.
Red Notice?
No.
I think that is it.
No, it's not Red Notice. It's the one where the time
oh,
traveling
yes,
child.
yes.
The Lake House.
Goodwill Hunting.
The Lake House. Yes, Goodwill Hunting meets the Lake House. But you know what it is.
The Adam Project.
The Adam Project, that's right. All right, so he went on to direct those films. Originally, he was supposed to direct The Flash, and now he's directing Deadpool 3. Glad it worked out. Then I guess David Dobkin, I don't know what the fuck he's.
I don't know. He looks like he did some like accounting in the 80s.
Yeah,
but
Mike, 100%.
that's
yeah.
all you guys
So-
need to know about him.
Then we got Phil Lord and Chris Miller. We're actually going to take this on, and
Probably would have been good.
I want to wait till we get the. What I'll say here is
I'm
that
just saying anything that they do is usually good.
Yeah.
Would've
Well,
been
what
good.
I'll say here is that they went with Spider-Man, and who wouldn't? Flash Spider-Man.
The better bet.
Yeah. Then we have Seth
Graham Smith. I guess?
Graham Smith.
Graham Smith.
Seth Granny Smith.
He's
Oh, he definitely got called Apple Boy.
Apple Boy. Hey, Apple Boy.
Hey, Apple Boy. You discount Tom Hardy.
Hey, what do you think of these apples?
Then we have
Showed everybody his
Rick
balls.
Rick Famuyiwa.
Sure.
You got it.
I honestly I don't want to.
Famuyiwa?
You tried your
Familia?
hardest.
So then we have John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. I've heard John Francis Daly's name before. What's he done?
Freaks and Geeks. He was in Bones.
Okay.
He writes and produces on a lot of stuff right now.
Okay.
So also might have been good.
Then we got Andy Muschietti.
Here we are.
We got our man.
We finally
And-
pinned somebody down.
You want to know what? I still think Andy was the best choice for this movie because Andy's last 3 films have been good. Mama, great horror movie. It's a fun Saturday night in movie. The first It, absolute classic. It Chapter 1. It Chapter 2, little self-indulgent, about an hour too long. Still good.
Tale as old as time.
Still enjoyable.
Right. But when you're handed a
When the chips are down,
yeah,
you got to get a man who could get in there and direct this picture for you. And they picked Andy. And let me tell you something. Somehow,
he's like I don't even know.
somehow, through the years of absolute, utter, stitched together, we don't know what we're doing type of bullshit that DC and Warner Brothers are known for. After all the years of that and what it's done to their brand, to their ability to sell the audience on a film or a character outside of Batman or Superman, has been irreparable. Because it is so obvious to me from watching this movie that they have not learned a goddamn thing. And I'm more upset at this than I am anything else because I feel like I was lied to.
For years.
They paid people to say this was good. I believe that. They paid people to hype it up. James Gunn got on that fucking video and lied right to our faces that this was some great big reset about the DCEU.
They had to part of his contract be like, look, okay, we are on a sinking ship. I need you to just say this is good. Don't watch it.
Here's
Don't,
a bucket.
Yeah.
We need you to use it.
Yeah,
This
don't watch it so then you can have reasonable doubt. Please just say it's gonna be good.
This is exactly what I said it was in the beginning. They were never canceling this because they have sunk way too much money into it.
Yeah.
Batgirl, they were like 90 million. No, it's easy. This, upwards of $300.
100.
Yes. $3.
We're bringing it back to Zack Snyder. 300.
Somehow, I don't think this, if I were to non-spoiler
Spoilerific.
rank these
Just
above,
whoppers.
rank these around DC's other entries since Man of Steel, not their whole catalog. This sits somewhere at the top of the pile, but the pile is absolute dog shit.
It's a low bar, and they cleared it because it's low.
And
Because they took a step over it
Yeah.
on the floor.
and here's the thing.
It is weird. It's I don't want to when we're talking about scores. I don't want to give it a bad score because I'm oh, this is one of the better outings. But also it's this.
But it's so
It
obvious
had
that
so many problems that easily could have been avoided with just a little bit more care and attention.
Or just scrapping the fucking thing.
Or
you
just throw it away.
ever do you ever find an easier way to do math? This is what this feels like. They found an easier way or a better way to produce the garbage that they do.
Yeah.
And for me, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. I watched this in utter contempt.
This is the
I
straw.
was in disbelief.
Where have you been the last few years?
Well, those other things
Hanging on to the hope of this film.
The other thing was but that's the other thing too, is that those other movies, they didn't hype up like they did this one. They were like, this is the fucking one.
This
you know
is
what
the
I mean?
swan song
This
for
is
the DC
yes,
universe.
This is gonna wrap everything up and introduce us. Who knows if Ezra is gonna be the new Flash? And that's the thing, is that these were all these questions you have going into this movie. And if they would have just, personally, upon retrospect, I don't think Keaton should have ever been in the fucking marketing at all. he should
That
have.
is a big note.
He should have not been in the marketing at all. This should have been billed as a Flash, or not even Keaton. Batman. Bruce Wayne could have made an appearance, but Batman shouldn't have.
100%.
Or allude to it. Like Supergirl.
I don't know.
An
Like,
absolute waste.
I think
A waste of a character.
you're getting too into the details.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
as far as like just talking about marketing, I honestly think Keaton was a big draw for a lot of people. For me, I mean, that was one of the reasons I was excited because I want that Keaton Batman.
But that speaks to how bad the film is.
But
Like,
again, it's like if we're talking about marketing,
I think it
what
speaks
was,
to the
what was right or
damage of the
wrong.
brand, though.
or
Yeah.
to that
But if
effect.
we're-
Because
as far
Shazam
as
came and
judging-
went, and none of us saw it,
If
Yeah.
we're
and we
talking
didn't
about
care to
PAK,
see it.
But if you're
Sorry.
saying like the value of the marketing team did their job. They got my ass in the seat because
Yeah.
Michael Keaton was there.
The marketing team did it great, but if you like to Pat's point, if we're like we are making a Flash movie, I got a poster from the IMAX thing that the Flash is this big on it,
Yeah.
and then Batman's, all of he's the main focus of that poster. So
As
it's
well
like,
he should be.
yeah, but it's not a Flash movie then. Like,
Well, I mean, it's like Captain America. Which one was basically Avengers?
Civil War.
Civil War.
Sure.
That's the like. I'm not mad that this turned into a Batman movie. All of the plot devices were centered
Did
around the
it?
Flash.
I mean,
it
Hold
heavily
on.
leaned on the
that's the
Batman.
thing, is that like I understand what you're saying, and yes, I think the marketing did a good job. But what I think is a lesson that wasn't learned here, or a note that DC or Warner Brothers didn't take, is that like instead of just showing the people who are in the movie, leak it. Be like, I think Michael Keaton's in this as Batman. You think? Let's go check it out.
Let's go see.
I heard the movie.
Here's a picture of him holding a railing.
I heard.
Yeah, let's analyze that. Like is that his Batman's glove? Like,
No sign of Luke Skywalker. Remember that for fucking months when the first Force Awakens. That's what I'm saying. They should have you know what I mean? That would have caused a chatter the entire.
No.
And then if you got because think about it, No Way Home, we didn't get a lot of Spider-Man, but for the other two,
Yeah.
But when they did show up, what they did give us was like perfect, because like in that sense, when you watch Keaton as Batman, the stuff he does is satisfying, but ultimately, the way they pitched this to me, I was expecting a little bit more, and maybe not from the action department, but from the character and narrative department.
They didn't show up.
Nobody was in the office.
Half the team didn't show
They're
up.
all
The
working from
VFX
home.
artist didn't show up.
Okay,
Like,
so
well,
we should
yeah,
talk
we're-
about that. We should.
Let's take a step back, reset. What do we think overall? We'll go around the table, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
Okay, nitty gritty non-spoiler, because
non-spoiler. I got a
Yeah.
whole
Okay,
non-spoiler.
I think overall, this is fine, and maybe that's the most offensive part, is because I was sold on it not being just fine. I was sold on this is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time.
This is the dawning of a new age.
Then
Yes.
then people saw it and they're like, it's not one of the best ones of all time, but it is great. And then the regular critics saw it, and then it was like, it's not great, it's just good though. And then
the audience.
the audience hit it, and the rest of the critics hit it, and then they were all just like, this is so mid. So that's where I'm at, is that I think I would have enjoyed it more if I wasn't being sold this superhero epic of giant proportions, and that it was, and a lot of my, I let my speculation become my expectation.
That's been a recurring theme for me recently, is I let all the rumors and everything dictate what my expectations are, rather than just seeing the fucking movie. So when I'm sitting there, it's like, oh, I had a whole other thing built up in my head, and now that this doesn't meet it, I'm disappointed. It's like, well, who did this? I did it. That's my fault.
Who made this mess?
Also, the people they definitely paid to say, no, you guys got to see
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Like I'm ultimately,
We know that
I'm
their
at
whole
fault.
job is to convince us to come. Like, we
Sure.
keep falling for the same fucking tricks.
Where you're not wrong.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. You want to know the thing though?
Fool me once.
But it was one of those things where it was like, the height, like here, I think the best way to say it is that it definitely didn't live up to the hype.
No.
But it's also not the worst thing I've ever seen
Yeah.
from DC.
I guess like where I sat was like I felt like I had going into it a responsibility to see it that I was happy to do.
Yeah.
And then that shifted to, oh, that was an obligation I had to see that in a bad way.
There were moments in there, especially towards like the beginning where, I mean, not the very beginning, but throughout the beginning where I was just like, oh, it's good to be at a movie and I'm excited to see these characters that I haven't been excited to see in the past.
Yeah.
But then as we got further and further into the movie, I'm just like, this is a little, it's sloppy and so much shit. It's 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Still 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like. It's a movie that like knows what the note I have is like. I'm like, it's a movie it knows what it's doing and is so confident in doing that, it's just doing the wrong thing.
Yeah,
like, and it's doing it badly. But it's like, nope, I'm gonna double down. We're gonna see all these dick jokes and vomit things and like other shitty crude humor. That's kind of like, okay, well, like
that's the way I put it to Alexis was. Like she kept saying, they're trying to be Marvel again, and they're not Marvel. But it's like Marvel's good at, not so much recently, but in the beginning, in the Joss Whedon days,
hey, we got Guardians 3. We got a fresh palette of good Marvel.
Apparently, the Russo brothers,
too.
Their whole thing was it's like a beautiful, like they're in on the joke and they're winking and nodding at you. This movie. It's like that annoying friend, like, hey, Pat, did you hear that joke that I said a second ago?
Yeah.
This is funny, right? That's funny.
Exact same feeling. It was like, it was like I was waiting for him to look to the camera.
Yeah.
And be like, you guys.
Pretty funny, right?
Liz,
Ain't I a stinker?
Liz,
Literally.
what do you think,
Seriously.
just generally?
Just really disappointed. I don't know. I like enjoyed it.
Not
it was
mad, disappointed.
I'm disappointed because I thought it was going to be good, and I'm not traditionally like the biggest DC fan. So going into this, I don't know as much. I'm just here for a good time. But I was like, maybe this will be the one that pushes me into being a bigger DC fan. And that
with
was,
this movie, it's I'm here for a long time, not a good time.
This was genuinely. This is the first time I sat in a movie and I was like, what if I just closed my eyes for a little bit?
wait.
That's a good, yeah.
Wake me up when there's an action scene.
So,
real quick, the other thing with it too, I
No,
was
it's fine.
like, everything was so formulaic about this film
yeah.
that I felt like all of the rewrites and everything, it had potential to be decent because it had like I felt like it was like a Walmart James Gunn movie.
Yeah.
As in like
Kirkland brand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
like they tried to do.
No, Kirkland brand is
Let's
good.
not bring Kirkland
Let's not
into
bring
this.
Kirkland into this. But it was like we had a little needle drops. We had some of that like I said, quasi crude humor that works for James Gunn when he does things. And it was really just kind of like, well, how do we James Gunnify this? And
this all happened before James Gunn became
without
a part of
him
Warner.
being a part of it.
Yeah. If only they had fucking waited.
So let's
delay another 2 years.
let's get into some specifics.
Do we want to give a number score?
No. Let's still do non-spoiler
Okay,
and give
go ahead.
specifics, and then we'll do we'll give
alright.
a score. Performances. First of all, it's true. Ezra Miller is great in this.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I think this is their best outing as Barry. I think they finally figured out how to play the character, and I think they do a great job of it, and they're bearable the entire movie. And
when they're not bearable, it's on purpose.
it's on purpose. The genius here is that there's two Barrys, which is not a spoiler. That's in all the trailers and everything. So Ezra has to give two performances. They're great. They do good work.
Mhm.
Keaton.
That being said, I'll wait. I'll save him for the end. Michael Keaton's in this movie. I can't tell his level of enthusiasm in this.
It felt like he was excited to probably initially get the offer, and then
once he found out how much work it was like, oh,
like,
fuck.
I didn't sign up to be Batman again.
I feel like he really leaned into obviously
The
any performance of Batman has the two sides. You have the Batman and the Bruce Wayne, and his like he really leaned into the Batman and didn't use the Bruce Wayne at all.
He also like, I felt like he leaned into like a caricature of his old self as opposed to just, you know how like when Toby and Andrew showed up, it's just an old pair of shoes, old friends, good to see you, buddies.
It's like riding
This
a bike.
was just like something's off with Mike, you know, like
I honestly didn't have a problem with it. I get what you're saying, but I had the most fun when he was on screen.
And I think that is the.
I don't disagree.
I don't disagree as well. I think that was probably the high point. I'm not going to get into spoilers. The high point of the film energetically for me with the crowd, and then the rest of it was just like a balloon hissing and slowly deflating until the very end of the movie. But they were like, crowd was cheering. They were going crazy. Like when
Sasha.
What day and what time did you go?
I saw it on Friday at an IMAX theater in Manhattan.
What time?
Like early afternoon.
This was like pretty full.
So it was.
I went
It was a good theater.
Thursday at 6:00 and the place was packed.
I went this morning at 11 a.m. and there was very little people in that room.
On opening weekend.
Well, it was Sunday morning on Father's Day. So
That's valid. But you want to take your dad to see the Flash.
yeah, so I would say it was like every row, the middle like 2 to 4 seats were full, and the rest of the place was dead.
Yeah.
So
Dad doesn't want to get up at 10 a.m. to see the Flash.
That's
so it was. Who's next? Sasha Cal. Oh, Sasha Cowell is next. She played Supergirl. Kara Jor-El. Kara Zor-El? Yeah, she's House Zor-El. She was good, but at the entire time I was watching, I was like, they should have never told me this shit was ending because I just don't care. Like, I know this is a waste.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like might have been a scene that they left on the cutting room floor that, for like time, that didn't exactly flesh out her character a bit. I'll get into it more in spoilers.
Okay, so that feels like, to me, I was like, her arc
I know what you're talking
was
about.
so weird.
That's what I'm saying. I feel
So
like
it feels
maybe
like
there might
there's
have been
something missing in the middle.
That's
there.
what I'm saying. Like, it just felt like, that was a little quick. You know what I mean?
It was a little quick.
Yeah, I was saying, it's a little quick.
Yeah. Your point,
so,
it was kind of like, okay, I know what's going to happen because this whole film is A happens, so B will happen, and it gave you no confusion on where it was
and that's
going.
what Andy Muschietti's good at, unfortunately. So then the other thing is
Causality.
So who else is in this?
And
okay,
then
so Michael Shannon as General Zod. What a fucking disappointment he was. Let me tell you something.
It's just,
If I've ever seen
know
paycheck work come through in a movie theater, that was the first time. Like, listen, he is incredible. He's the best part of Man of Steel. I've said that since the movie came out. I always have that stupid line in my head whenever I see one of these movies and he's referenced or something. Because remember, he's been a dead body in 3 of these movies since Man of Steel's come out. Is I always think of that line that he says because it's such perfect delivery where he's like, I trained for years on Krypton. Where did you train? On a farm? Like, he's just so good.
I finally watched Man of Steel for the first time yesterday. So
oh yeah,
And
it's fresh up here.
on a farm.
have you seen his? He's trending on TikTok now.
I made a TikTok with
yes.
him.
Did you?
Did you see that?
With
No, I
him?
didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I'll show you later. Or you could just open up your TikTok. It'll be there soon.
We'll see it.
The whole time I could tell he did not want to be there. And then I heard in an interview afterwards that he didn't want to be there and he was, quote, dissatisfied with his work.
Well, I'm pretty
on
sure
the film. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding there, bud.
I don't think physically he was in it. I think they probably just like screened him in front of a green screen from his shoulders up, and
There's no substance. I
That's
mean,
the
I don't
thing,
want to
it's
get
like-
into
Of the
I don't want to
movie,
I don't
of
want
the
to get I don't
movie.
want to get into that too much of what the substance of his character is right now.
They
But
could have used archival footage from Man of Steel, and it would have been fine. And it would, like, we didn't need much of him at all.
yeah.
It was a waste to bring.
But even just his performance, I mean, like, even just like the stuff, like, he had one moment, he had one scene with Supergirl, which I thought he was excellent in, and everything else it was just like, yep, I'm I smoked weed before I got on camera. It was awesome. You know what I mean?
What did
like,
you guys do?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and
I got that Krypton Kush.
so like, yeah, I don't know. He just didn't jazz me up like I thought I was gonna get jazzed up. You know.
He was a villain we've already beat.
Who else is in this?
I don't know the name of the actress, but whoever played Iris West.
Kiersey Clemens.
Why did number one? I wasn't super impressed with her performance, but also she was given incredibly bad dialogue, and it was a nothing part.
Also,
for no reason other than to have a
Female,
a romantic counterpart for Barry.
Also, zero like direction. Her scenes are just like
she's just there.
She's flying in the air. Like there's
felt
nothing
like
there.
watching like a high school performance.
Yeah.
Because I was like where
student film.
Where no
Like,
one like
it's a
told
bit
you
part,
anything about it.
It's a bit part where not only the actor is bad, but they don't get the joke either. You know what I mean? Like it's that. But in this particular scene, they're bad. There is no joke.
Like,
and they don't understand the assignment because it's not written out.
Maybe
for them.
they were just like terrified to be next to Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller. So Ezra Miller did do pickups on this a few months ago. So he has worked on this post accusations, post crimes. Any more performances?
Ben Affleck.
Oh, that's right.
Ben
Affleck.
Ben Affleck was about on par with.
I watched this movie, and when Ben Affleck came on screen, the first thing I thought of was
Dunkin' Donuts.
You know, I got what I asked for.
He definitely came
I got
off.
10 years of Ben Affleck Batman movies. I got a brand new one on Thursday. He's fucking Batman again, and somehow they still can't get it right. I think he's fine. Did you notice there's no voice modulator on Batman? It was just Ben Affleck. I was like, wow, they just getting it.
He walked right off the set of Air.
Yeah.
To like walk right into here, and they were like, "Can you get in a car?"
Yeah. He looks good though. He doesn't look bloated. He looks in shape again. J-Lo did him good, you know.
I want to make a comment about. I'm going to save this for details because I don't think it belongs in this part of the conversation.
It's like fuck Ben Affleck.
The parents. We have the parents.
The parents were good. Like I said, I don't think anybody gives a real bad performance. Michael Shannon seems like he's sleepwalking in through it, but that's because he can outact the fuck anybody there.
Yeah,
so
why
he
wouldn't
knows.
he?
Yeah. And you know, also I think I'm seeing it now. I think he felt some type of way about being in this movie because he asked Zack Snyder's permission to be in the movie before, you know, because he's like, because I just love
to
Zack.
fill out a permission slip to get near Ezra Miller.
And then the other thing was just that he hasn't told anyone to go see this. All he's talked about is how he liked playing Zod and how much he likes Zack Snyder as a person. I'm like, God, why won't this end? So yeah, performances are fine. Listen, let's just get right to it. CGI. Woo!
Y'all.
So there is something that nobody talks about, and it's because the CGI is so awful in places that one of the greatest effects in the movie is in front of your face the entire time, and it's done so well that you don't notice it, but that's the best part of good CGI. There's two Ezras the whole movie,
Are you
and it's
kidding?
absolutely
I thought that
seamless.
looked like trash. There were
What?
several.
There were
Several
instances, but
that looked like a Snapchat camera.
I disagree.
I did not think so.
There
I
were-
thought that was absolutely seamless, and I thought like maybe this is why I think the rest of the VFX suck is because they put all their budget on that, and then David Zaslav was like, cut the budget.
No
like,
more.
Dude, I don't know.
There's enough here. Yeah.
There were a couple instances of like interstitial type shots, like in between things that seemed like it was just to show off like the VFX of his face, and they were horrible. Like I remember when, this is not a spoiler, it will just be general, when they are going into a laboratory, there's a shot that just turns to him and is like, oh, and it looks literally like a Snapchat filter. I was like, they did it better in The Parent Trap.
I'm with Pat on this one, but to get to all of the other special effects, I've been seeing a lot that Andy Machete is saying like that was on purpose. It looks
I
weird
think-
on purpose.
I think
but
there-
that's such bullshit because
I
so
think
much
there's
of it,
one instance where he means that, and it's getting lost in translation.
So much of this movie is obviously, if you know anything about this movie, there's time travel involved, and the time travel sequences. I'll give you credit for that. That it's like, okay, this is otherworldly shit going on. Cool. But there's other sequences like the first action sequence. I'm like,
Yes.
why is everything so uncanny?
Yeah.
It's like this looks. If you either make it look hyper realistic or make it look super stylized, not this uncanny.
You're exactly right. You read my mind exactly. That was my exact point. Was that I think in the time travel sequences, the effects are supposed to look like that, and I think as an art style, they're good.
It looks
I
like
think the two-
Bioshock Infinite.
It
in
looks
this.
like-
like
have you guys
that's what it
seen-
looks like to
I
me.
think the two. I think
Severance intro sequence.
yes.
That's what it looks like.
Severance
to me.
intro sequence looks better than that.
But it's a little bit more stylized.
Yes.
I think what's it called? And then I think the stuff that happens outside of the time travel sequence, because time traveling sequences, it didn't look overtly artistic. Like there was a certain art style to it. So I knew they were trying to differentiate. It's just the fact that art style didn't matter anymore because I could tell that everything in that scene was fake because they definitely had to chain Ezra up to get him to film these scenes.
Yeah, there is that's a great point. It's like those are the very uncanny. Like you're like, this doesn't look good. Like noticeably uncanny.
I hate this.
It makes me like when there's something going on that is stylized. It's like, oh, I appreciate this. When it looks just slightly off, it makes me feel uncomfortable and bad. And too much of this movie made me feel uncomfortable.
This makes me feel bad.
The Flash. Uncomfortable and bad.
Yeah, dot. Nick McFly.
Get it straight. It makes me feel
Put some
uncomfortable
fucking
and bad.
pine cones around that.
Exactly.
Slap that on the 4K.
Pine cones.
That's what they are, right? They're like fucking.
No, they're holly.
Oh, whatever. You suck my holly. Anyway, let's talk about the story and the writing.
Did they write this during the writer's strike?
I don't know.
This is one of the most
I think-
hollow.
Hollow's a good way to put it. It's like
Obtuse.
biting into a chocolate bunny on Easter.
We're still in general broad.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
No,
yeah,
we're
it
talking
is-
about the the
It is a
non-spoiler.
jelly donut that when you bit the front out, all of the jelly fell out the
Spilled
back,
the back onto your
and
pants.
onto you and made you mad. And then you
Yeah.
were like, well, I should have known that was going to happen. That's on me for going.
Yep.
This movie's act is structured like a great speedball session. You know, it's kind of messy and really uncanny in the beginning of it. Then the middle section comes and you reach your peak and you're riding high the entire time and you're
I
having
think
a
it's gonna
great
be
time.
like this forever.
Exactly. And then you
Crash.
you hit that crash. All of a sudden you're the come down. It's just too much.
sweating.
It's way too much.
You're hot and you're
the,
cold.
And the funny part is, it's definitely true because that demon you saw in the beginning of the night who was
Yeah,
like,
he
"Don't
comes
do
back.
that." He
The
shows
Hat
up at
Man.
the end and he's like, "I hope you learned your lesson." You know,
But it's okay.
Don't be like me, kids.
But-
You don't have to worry.
but listen,
You'll
you're-
do it tomorrow.
But listen, you're gonna be fine.
no, we're not getting into details. But after the roller coaster that this movie was, then the post-credit scene happened, and I was like, "How the fuck is that supposed to make me feel? Like, what was that? What were they thinking I was gonna feel watching that?
The entire theater silently exited.
Just yes.
I swear to God, maybe 200 people in a New York IMAX
with
theater
their heads down.
got up and was just like, okay,
This is it.
I wasted my time.
You've swindled me.
Andy, you've swindled me.
The people who wrote this movie should be locked up. And that's where I'm gonna leave it, because like
Damn.
it's one of the most amateurish written stories ever. Like I would rather a big swing and a miss
Sure.
Yeah.
Give me something weird and like esoteric.
Yeah. So like we could sit here and pretend to pluck at it, or give me something so monumentally awesome that like I'll just come home singing. Don't give me this fucking Child's Play, this Chronicles of Narnia bullshit.
Hey, don't talk.
Okay?
Don't slander
All right?
Chronicles of Narnia.
This fucking sitcom ass superhero movie. Okay, this is fucking bullshit. All right, this was one of the worst written things I've seen in my life. Now listen, that's not to speak for the narrative. I think there's a very sweet and heartfelt narrative at the center of this involving our lead character. And
There's
I think
something in there, but it didn't make it to the screen.
I think there's a very creative, we'll use the word inevitability, that happens twice.
Canon event
That happens twice that makes the script very clever. I think the third act is an absolute mess, and they did not know how to marry the end of Barry's journey with this clusterfuck that was going on.
With the corporate mandated multiverse event that needed to happen to send off this franchise.
And thank you for bringing that up, Nick, because that brings me up to my next part of this non-spoiler section, is that somehow 15 years into this fucking comic book space race, we are 10 years into DC, and somehow, some way, I have now been convinced that even a blind squirrel will find a nut every now and again. Got Joker, got the Batman, but that was our normal stuff. We knew that was going to do well. Okay? We put out the Flash. We made it a multiverse movie because we're still trying to ride Marvel's coattails all these years into this.
They're making all
we
the
delayed this
things.
movie a year for multiple times. This movie was... 4 DC movies were supposed to come out last year, and they pushed 3 of them into this year because they didn't want to lose the high they were riding from the Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Multiverse, and the fact that this came on the heels of Spider-Verse, like Spider-Verse came and ate this movie's lunch.
Nick, this like literally, I can't, while I was like writing my notes in my review, I was just like, wow, really fucking sucks for the Flash to come out a week or 2 after Spider-Man.
If they had the foresight to release this a couple weeks earlier, this movie would be making a fuck ton more money right now.
And then everybody would have been like, oh my God, okay, let me see Spider-Man. Spider-Man's awesome. Then maybe let me go back and watch the Flash. Like, you might have got 2 performances out of me at a theater.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is Extreme Home Makeover Edition, while this movie is Property Brothers. It is just fucking mindless garbage to fill your time. So
you're gonna get so much hate for that. I don't know from who.
I know from who.
This is like me later.
Hey, listen. That show made me cry more times.
Property Brothers?
No. Well, that's because it was so awful. No.
Extreme Home Makeover.
Extreme Home Makeover. There was one kid who gave his last $13 to a family.
That bus.
Wait, the show is hitting up 13-year-olds?
Well, I mean, some kid, I guess. Yeah, they were hitting up 13-year-olds for funding.
Hey,
no, he just donated all his $13.
Yeah, because that's all he had. When I was a kid, I only had $13.
It's a sweet thing to do, though.
And he's like, never hassle me over $13 ever again.
They built a house for some girl who couldn't be in the sun.
Ryan Seacrest. Did he host that? Who was hosting?
No, Ty Lopez.
Ty Lopez. He just pulled him by the collar. He's like, don't ask for shit again. But we are going to get shit from
so
him.
Anyway.
Sorry, HGTV fans.
So, is there anything non-spoiler that we haven't, like, because I want to get into the nitty-gritty of this at this point. I would like to talk about this in detail, and I would like to get into the in-between, because I have had to work myself here like the death of a relative, okay? Like, I had the funeral on Thursday, and I have been like, everything's great. And then today I woke up and I'm like, everything's not great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about this movie. Today's the first day I'm really letting it all out, because I tried to find happiness in this, and I keep coming back to the one through line of the narrative, and it's just that is the one thing saving this. The one thing I was like, listen, if you want to watch a Flash movie, check this out, because all things considered, it's all right. But don't expect much.
Yeah.
At all.
So you're in the anger stage of grief right now.
There we go. So far.
Can't believe this bitch left me here with all his money.
And now it's denial.
All these bills. God damn it.
Bargaining. So if you want to go see like a really, really good movie about tragedy, how it affects people, thinking about changing the past, how you can become a hero, go see Spider-Man again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This thinks it's trying to do that, but just go see Spider-Man.
It doesn't
again.
even. It like knows in its
Yeah,
heart of hearts, like I'm fucking nailing it, and it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's very confident.
This is like watching me in a show. You know what I mean? He's confident. He's got confidence. Okay,
Here comes Lonnie. Let's hear him out.
Listen. Somebody get this guy a development deal. We can make a couple bucks off of him. You know, for a few years to live his dreams, he'll have a couple memories. You know, let's get this show on the road.
Let's do it.
You know, all right.
Nick
He'll be the new host of Gutfeld. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Any final words?
We'll get back into these, but I think one of the major problems with this one was the combination of they were trying to cram too much in, and it did a lot of really like high concept stuff. That's not the stuff that was too much. It was all of the like the stuff you have to do in a movie. Like I said, like the love interest. It's like cut all that extra shit out and focus on the big high concept superhero movie. And the other thing that I thought was really weird was they know how to write for superhero characters. They have no idea how to write regular human being dialogue. Anytime it's Barry Allen talking to another human being rather than the Flash talking to Batman, they talk like a middle schooler wrote the dialogue.
Yes.
The R reverse and a crayon.
Exactly.
There's snot on the paper because somebody doesn't know how to cover their mouth when they sneeze.
Yeah. So it was very strange.
Eyes open and everything.
Can't do that when you're an adult. Lord knows you might blow your asshole out.
Your O-ring.
Hanging out just like this.
Oh no. Like a floppy sweater.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I said what I needed to say.
So I'll say this. We're doing numbers now. Are we doing numbers?
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
numbers.
Let's do it.
I would give this like a 5 out of 10. I would put this. Somehow I enjoyed Aquaman more, even though actually I think Aquaman's a better movie, but I also wasn't told Aquaman was the best thing ever.
Temper your expectations. What in a vacuum? What'd you think?
In a vacuum, like just as a movie,
Like without all the expectations that you had for this movie,
I'd give it like a 6. If without all the expectations, with the expectations, we're at like a 5, like in between a 4.5 and a 5. Without the like just taking it as it is, you know, right on the face, you know, down your chin, it's a 6. You know, it's a good time. It's an okay time.
I had fun watching it for the most part. I laughed with the movie and at the movie, so
Me as well.
So I probably would give it a 6.5.
Okay, Miguel.
A 5. Like it is a middle of the road
Perfectly
5.
mid.
Like a perfectly mid 5 for a movie that even like if you were to give it with my expectations, it's like significant. It's probably like a 4.
Yeah.
But
Oh wow.
like because really I'm like, if you're gonna put this up against other things, like on its own, it's a movie that again starts somewhere and ends somewhere, and nothing is affected.
Somehow
And
it's like
the emotional impact of it and the depth of the characters, nothing changes for me, and nothing changes realistically on screen. I know I'm very generalizing, but from just like a movie perspective, I was like, you emotionally took me nowhere. So
yeah, I felt nothing.
Mike, some problems don't have answers, and you just gotta let go.
22.
Liz?
22.
I want to give this a 6, but I really think I'm leaning more towards a 5. I think like even as a person who's like not a huge fan, like it was lackluster to say the least. Like they really tried. They were like, let's make it bright, shiny, popping colors, loud music. And it still fell flat, which I don't understand how something that was so loud could keep me so bored. But yeah, it was just, coming out of it, I think I like Stockholm syndromed myself into like enjoying this movie. I was like, no, I had a good time. I enjoyed myself here.
I didn't
And
waste my time.
This was not a waste. We did not book this ticket and pay to see Transformers
Liz, that's
because
a
of this
sunk
movie.
cost fallacy right
Yeah,
there.
I like
this movie is a sunk cost fallacy.
In every possible way.
this. There once again, there will. I think I'm gonna start working on a video. Someone's gotta take a fucking a tally on the devastation that the DCEU has done to itself and others for the last 10 years. How Warner
Irreparable
Brothers is-
damages.
How Warner Brothers is still around, I'll never know. But, so should we talk spoilers then? Let's talk some spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, let's just start right at the very beginning. We'll just do a quick little plot summary. So Indiana Jones, he meets his goddaughter and he goes back in time with her to. Oh, sorry, that's 2 weeks. from
That's
now.
2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks. My bad.
Don't spoil anything.
So
I texted Pat earlier, and I saw the newest trailer for that movie, Dial of Destiny, and there was one line in there that Mads Mikkelsen says that has me reconsidering that it might be about time travel. And Mads is like, "Oh, he's holding the dial." He's like, "Oh, we'll correct the mistakes of the past." I was like, "Oh, fuck, Pat's right. They're going back in time."
He's like, a Fourth Reich will rise. No,
truthfully, Nick, I don't think they're going back in time anymore.
Who changed the timeline and made Pat think that it's not time travel and me?
Forward
Barry
in
Allen.
time.
Yep.
He's just a skeleton, like for most of the movie, and then they just have a new
No,
Indiana Jones. See, that's what we care to talk about more than the actual spoilers of this fucking movie.
No, there's some. I watched somebody's review of it, and it was non-spoiler, and they didn't give anything away. But what he did say was, he goes, and I read all of the leaks, and I can tell you right now, the things that there's things that I've read that are just straight up not in this movie. They're not even hinted at or considered. So I don't think that they go back in time. Anyway, you know who wishes they can go back in time? The Flash, because the fucking box office is awful. You guys want me to read you some of the numbers?
Also, his mom died, so that's why he wants to go back in time.
Okay, so we'll start with some weekend numbers.
This should
Domestically,
have been non-spoiler.
It's
domestic,
Why are we doing this
domestically,
now?
domestic. Dude, we always do
because it will
this.
spoil our energy.
If you literally, if you go back every episode, I always do box office before spoilers.
That's what I'm saying.
So domestically,
We just
this
kicked
was
over into
supposed to made
spoilers.
domestically. This was supposed to make like this weekend probably like anywhere in between 75-80 million. 64. A lot of it's bad.
What do we anticipate for next weekend?
Nothing.
I think it's gonna look real bad.
In-
we have
International-
Oppenheimer and Barbie. They're like,
Goodbye, The Flash.
yeah.
Not next weekend.
Not next weekend.
Next
Oppenheimer is Barbie's the
July.
end of July.
I thought it was June. Did it get pushed?
This
No.
this has 2 weeks to make
Tom
money,
Cruise wishes.
and then Indiana Jones is gonna come out and scoop up a lot of box office. Okay, international. This made 75 altogether, 139. This was supposed to make like 175. This is a fucking disaster.
Do you know what the budget for this was? Was this
220
plus marketing.
plus marketing, and this has had multiple marketing. Now,
Yeah, this thing has been
If-
on our radar for
whatever,
how many
whatever
years?
agency is marketing this has had their contract renewed like 4 times.
now
Yep.
if we're gonna talk about marketing real quick, I think it's important to point out that obviously the studio was like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do? We can't market our $300 million superhero romp around our star. Ultimately, I don't think them not having a star to market the film around is what killed the movie. I don't think that's what killed this. I think this was DOA because there's a reboot incoming. Word of mouth is not good.
Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man just happened, and that is getting glowing reviews and amazing word of mouth. It's one of those movies where there's not a lot of discourse because everybody just kind of agrees it's the best thing that's
It's a rare thing.
made.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like there's
Except for Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, well, you know, he could suck a cock. So
I would never do that.
Let's say hypothetically.
Hypothetically, I took a cock in my mouth.
whose cock is it? Is it my mouth or your?
Or is it my own?
Yeah. It's like just shut up. So
What's the Rotten Tomatoes looking like for this movie?
great question, Nick.
What are the fans saying?
Pretty rotten, Nick.
Pretty rotten.
It's not. It's
Something rotten.
Something rotten.
So-
Remember those commercials forever?
I sure do. I remember every commercial I've ever seen.
Whoa.
So
Look at
Really?
that. The audience seems to like it. I'm not surprised because people are dumb.
you would be very surprised. Twitter does not like this movie.
Yeah,
Twitter's not
There's
real
only
life.
been a couple,
I understand.
but Twitter is where a lot of the discourse is. Like this. I'm not like, who the fuck's hanging out on just Rotten Tomatoes? Like, this is one of these things that I'm puzzled by. You know how there's all these blanket statements about Rotten Tomatoes? Here's your fucking here's your what do they call this? Your outlier. Okay? I don't understand. Normally this score is in line with what I'm reading on Twitter, and man, they have not been kind to this movie. Snyder fans are tearing it apart, which obviously they would be. People who are James Gunn fans are like, man, what the fuck? You endorse this? And even just regular moviegoers clearly aren't interested in it because it's making no fucking money. This makes sense.
I'm glad the blackening has got a high score.
Killing it.
Yeah.
The critic score makes sense. That
Can you
debuted.
just say what the scores are since we don't have the laptop?
Oh yeah. The critic score is 67% and the audience score is 86%. Now, the critic score came in at 75. So initially I was like, okay.
I'm really honestly shocked that the critical score is not lower.
I tend to believe I went through quite a lot of these and I saw quite a lot of them were just like, well, they
finally put it out.
It's like,
They're just happy to be done with it.
yeah, and it's also one of those things where it's like, I think narratively around Barry, they stuck the landing enough to earn this score because it was, I do think that, but everything else around the movie is just awful. So I'm just, what's it called? I'm surprised it came in higher. I'm surprised it initially came in at 75. You know what I mean? This baffles me though. Baffles me. I don't understand.
Well, that's the thing is, people like spectacle. People like, the return of Michael Keaton, all of that. This delivered on a lot of those things that people who don't go to the movies all the time are looking for.
That's valid. And also,
it's too bad those people just aren't showing up.
I know. It's also
Yeah.
one of those where you kind of didn't have to really see all the other old DC movies to go here, and this is kind of an isolated event.
Well, the other thing is that the cinema score is a B right now, and cinema score is what the audience poll. Remember, right?
Yeah, right after the
right
film.
after the movie, they come out. They're like, "Hey, what'd you think?" And they ask like 10 certain questions, right? And one of them was, "What grade would you give it?" And this grade was a B. That's the same grade as Black Adam. That's the same grade as the Eternals. That's the same grade as, what's that other one?
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. Yeah, I got a B too, unfortunately.
It's got to study
So
harder.
my point is just that it's getting a response from audiences like, it really wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, but it was good. You know what I mean? Like,
I think Liz's take was really correct. I walked out of it and I was like, all right, not bad.
yeah.
And then the more I was
Think about it.
yeah, the more I thought about it, the madder I got.
Motherfuckers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They swindled me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm on the third day of the breakup, and I'm just like, you know what? His mom was right. You know what I mean? Something like that.
I'm glad
how I'm
he
feeling.
forgot those tomatoes.
Yeah, you know what? And
Glad
fuck it.
his mom died.
Yeah, and fuck his mom, by the way. Stuff like that. Like, you know what? I wonder what his boss is up to. Shit like that. Like that's where you're at. You're at that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get into a little trouble.
They tried to get you on their side by showing a flawed justice system. We're all we don't want that. Yeah, of course there's corruption.
And then you even had that line from Batman where he's like, if I really wanted to do good, I'd abolish poverty or get rid of poverty.
Abolish poverty.
I'll abolish it.
I walk out of my Mercedes weird Tesla car
I've
abolished it.
I wanted to fucking throw my popcorn at the screen when I heard that line. I was like, because here's what I realized, and I can't believe I forgot about this. This is not in Zack Snyder's continuity. This is Justice League.
Joss.
Joss Whedon League.
This is
Isn't
Justice
it
League.
the same thing?
No, Justice League is canonical. Zack Snyder's is not.
Yeah, but it's
So,
all
like,
but
yeah,
it's
but-
like the same timeline as
Right, but think of the tone and the attitude.
but it's all that
That's
exists
what
in the
it's
same
like.
timeline as Man of Steel and Justice or what's the other Batman versus Superman. That's
What?
this does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like the tone has
Like,
shifted. It's
energetically,
not
we
it's
are-
not like those doom and gloom movies. It's
Yeah.
now like the same tone as what you saw in the 2017 Justice League movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's Justice League. So like when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, that's right. Batman's making fucking jokes." Oh, we're doing a lasso of truth.
Oh,
Bit.
look, we're throwing up.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, well, I like to throw up. I think because they did something with his powers, so I thought that was interesting. Like at least I thought that was fun. So
yeah, I didn't mind it.
so opening
what I'm-
action sequence, I just felt like it was a mess. Like the opening of the movie was just like, oh man, this is
Wait.
all over the place.
I liked the opening sequence except for all the Barry stuff. Anything that had to do with the Flash, I thought was really bad for the effects.
So all the
But
Batman stuff was good.
I liked what I
For the
liked about
action.
it was a living, breathing Gotham City with human beings that existed, and it wasn't just backdrop for Batman.
Yeah.
Batman was a part of a real place, and I'm like, wow, this is the best outing for me in Ben Affleck's tenure as a Batman.
It's weird to see him out during the day.
it
And
is.
I liked it.
It's
I
weird
liked
to see
that.
him responding as a normal cop, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he was
Yeah.
responding as.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm talking about, where it felt like Walmart James Gunn, when you had all of like the weird dog and its tongue, like when the whole building's collapsing,
Yeah.
and like all the neat, like you had it was Looney Tunes. is
I
what
could
this
write
movie
like
was.
a 5-page like thesis on how much I hated that dog.
because of the way it
A
looked.
dissertation.
That dog that fell
That
through
dog.
that horrible CGI dog looked nothing like the dog at the end of the scene.
How about the
And
babies?
the babies were terrifying.
Like when Ezra's
They were
holding
so
a baby, it's
bad.
like, there's your baby.
Stop. My favorite thing on Twitter this week is, why is Ezra Miller putting a baby in the
yeah,
microwave?
that was funnier.
The fact that they went with that joke, it's like, whoa, you're sticking a baby in a microwave?
Dude, that's what I said. I was like, they're trying to do like I was like, if you did that in Peacemaker, you would have like called out things about it or whatever.
Yes.
Like I felt like a Peacemaker version
A
of that
character would have been like, "Well, what the fuck? You're putting a baby in a microwave?" You know?
Yeah,
Or
what the
like-
fuck am I
yeah.
supposed to do?
Instead of
You know what I mean? Like that
instead
would
of
have
Barry
happened.
being like
Barry's
oh, look,
like-
it's 20 or 2006 Reddit like
Yeah. Like, and like, here's the thing. I didn't hate, like, I didn't hate anything in particular about the scene. Like the baby in the microwave is whatever. Like the babies in general is whatever. Having to save, it was just a weird
The
set piece.
execution was
to-
weird.
It's just a weird set piece to pick. You know what I mean? Like-
Literally, they decided it would be funny to drop a bunch of babies from 20 stories
have
and
acid,
have them
fire, and knives
yeah.
maybe fall on
And
them.
it's like, this is a weird way to kick off your movie, to make a joke about babies dying.
and also, like,
yeah.
it looked ugly.
It looked terrible.
It looked ugly. And like, here's the other thing too, is that like, why am I sitting here going, Zack Snyder did the Speed Force better? I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be a fucking improvement. And I'm sitting here going like, oh, no, this is going to be awful. This is going to be bad. This is the setup of the whole fucking movie. I'm
And
like,
that's the thing.
oh
It's like, okay.
no.
It's like, yes, I know the Flash goes fast. I was like, the best you could do is have him fight gravity.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It was. Did it seem weird that they set up the whole beginning was he was like, "Oh, I'm the janitor for the Justice League."
I
and-
was just about to get to
and
that.
they
Like,
never. That was never resolved. Like he understands his place in the Justice
no,
League.
like
Well,
they had him sound so jaded in like
Yeah.
a weird sense, and then like the movie gets going and he's back to being Barry. I don't
Yeah,
know. They like
remember the-
tried. I don't know.
Remember the depth and the lack of depth and the hollowness and everything I was talking about? It's just everything was kind of just like, here. This too. Check this out.
Jumping ahead just a little bit to my point about the dialogue, Barry goes to work and he's being bullied by his coworkers in the most middle school way.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
is
gonna
not like,
embarrass you at this party, Barry.
and it's like, oh, how many friends does Barry have? Only one. Like he's got 0 friends. Oh, man, he made his first friend. This is not how adults bully adults in real life. It's not that bullying doesn't exist, but it doesn't happen like that. And it's like the writers couldn't figure out a clever way to have people like to point out that he's a loner, so they literally just had people say, "You're a loner and nobody likes you." That's the worst writing I've ever heard.
It's also like it's one of
That was
those
the whole
things where
film.
it's like,
Yeah.
why are we watching this and being like, why can't I see this? Like even Moon Knight, he sleeps in an attic. Like I got it. Like
Yeah.
why isn't Barry come home from a long day of
Show, don't tell.
Exactly. And ultimate and I'll save this for the end. I'm gonna please God, I'm asking you right now, not you guys, but the real God. I know we haven't talked in a while. Don't let me forget this, because this is the biggest thing I
Write it
want
down
to
in
say.
your notes.
In your prayer book.
In your
Please, Jesus.
Get Cool Ranch Doritos after the podcast.
I hope we have more Boston Market in the kitchen.
Thank you.
I do.
All right. So,
Just a little bit of mac and cheese and mashed potatoes.
There is a God.
Okay, so he runs real fast. He finds out he can go back in time through something called the Chrono Bowl.
My favorite sporting event. Is that a thing in DC, or do they make that up for this movie?
I just remember this motherfucker running so fast. He just went back in time. Like that's just how it happened. Like it wasn't this whole like thing where
he goes into
where
a
you're like you're in
subdimension.
some like weird like VCR type of life
It's like
thing.
a kaleidoscope
Yeah.
of all of your life events,
Yeah.
which is
Cool concept.
It's a cool way to depict
time travel. Yes.
Cool.
I'm okay with that.
I
thought that was cool.
Mike, you might not have liked it, but at least they did something different.
Do you know what that kind of looked like? And I'll say it. In I think it's Ant-Man, and also at the end of Loki when they have all the Kangs in the Coliseum. That's what that looked like.
Yeah,
it looked.
where I thought you were going.
No, I just think like it had like that Coliseum look to it because they're using the word multiverse too. Like everyone's using it.
Real Coliseum.
Yeah, it like
it.
the way they had it like looked like as he went through the different times, it looked like all the different like variants, if we're gonna use that word here. And so that's what that looked like to me. I don't know if they were doing that on purpose, but
You just reminded me of one of the greatest. I've seen it on a tweet, but you've also. I think I might have read the tweet to you, and you said I agree with that. So, I'm just gonna direct this at you. A couple years ago, someone when this movie was getting announced and Michael Keaton and everything, you said that the one thing that DC has over Marvel is its acknowledgement of the multiverse, and that's going to be their secret weapon to save DC.
I don't know.
I don't think.
Why would I ever
think,
have said that?
I don't think you said that. I think we read this thing together and we had a conversation about it. And I think you were like, "Yeah, like DC's got the multi. Haven't ever seen Marvel do anything with the multiverse."
I think if again, you have a better memory than
I know,
do,
I know.
But this doesn't sound like something that would come out of my mouth because what the fuck do I know about
But
any of the
all
canon?
these years later, it's just so funny to think about. Here we sit.
Yep.
Here's DC's honest attempt at a multiverse, and like fumbled the ball all the way to the end
But,
zone.
I mean,
like,
I don't want
and
to jump
Marvel
too far ahead.
Marvel fucking is their multiverse stuff. At least one of them, like the one that mattered, fucking cracked it out of the park. You know what I mean? Like, and then Sony with their multiverse across the spider, cracking it out of the park.
I think
And DC's still, I don't know what to do.
It's crazy to me that Marvel was able to nail it, and they didn't have like built-in other versions of characters. I think this is probably what we were getting at.
Yes.
Was DC has other versions of these characters, and boy, when they tap into them, that's gonna be something. And here we are.
Yes. So, anyway, though, this is where there's a part where he sticks his head out of the Chrono Bowl.
Just like in
Thor. Looked better though.
It did.
It looked better.
Remember that kid that like astral projected and was like, "You gotta come save us."
In Thor, Axel.
You're
That
talking
looked-
about the more recent Thor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Love
I
and
think you meant the
Thunder.
first one. I was like, what?
Thor, the title didn't matter until the last second of the movie.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
They call me Love.
Bud Light. He finds out he can reset time. He talks to Bruce Wayne.
Gumps because he's sad, and then he resets time.
He talks to his buddy Bruce Wayne, and
Bruce Gumps.
Ben Affleck's like, I
God,
don't even
make me a bird so I can fly far away.
It's like, I don't even know what I'm doing here right now. They paid me to drive this Mercedes. They're gonna CGI my lines later. I got to get going. I got priors. Like J-Lo's waiting for me.
Sometime later, maybe some other time.
Maybe some other time. Pretty much. Like, I thought that was also fine. Like it was just like that was like I was like, okay, we're past that. And then we start building the foundation of the narrative. All this I thought was good.
I think they definitely everything was working together to set the premise up.
Yes.
It was none of the threads were sewn back together at the end.
Yes.
But for me, it was like, I think this is a big problem. All the Iris West stuff was so pointless. She's the one that gives Barry the idea to go back and give her the can of tomatoes. Batman could have done that. Why did you need to add a character to tell him about a can of tomatoes?
It could have been anybody, and it was stupid to write a whole character about it.
Yeah. Oh, but he gets a love interest at the end.
Do we think this is because they wanted to link, what was it? Is it Justice League and this?
They did. She mentions it.
Yeah. But do you think that's why they kind of shoehorned her in there? Or?
No, because in the prior scene with Batman, he talks about, he's like, yeah, I went back in time. He's like, oh, just like, that time that we all blew up and like, which is weird because like I said, they're taking the tone of Justice League and they said that that's the canon one, but that never happened in that movie. And they're referencing shit that happened in a movie that's non-canonical. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Oh my God.
That's
I didn't
what
even
I'm
think
saying.
about
Guys,
Like-
what universe were we actually even in?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
And
is
like,
that-
what
and
if
the ending,
what
the
if
ending's a
every
big
episode-
fuck you like that too.
What if
Sure
every
fucking
episode
is.
of Rick and Morty is a different Rick and Morty?
Oh, whoa. Okay. Nick, out of breath.
I'm so I forgot you're an old man now. I can't be
Grow
startling.
up.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So
It's not gonna.
So that's why I didn't think that like she's needed at all because like it's already connected to the
Not
who
to mention
knows.
everything else that we see in the movie will connect. Like all the events with Zod will connect it. We don't need somebody to drop a line.
I thought when like the mom, when you see he's young and she's like, sometimes you just have to let go. Not all problems have solutions. I was like, you really just like 10 minutes into the movie hit me over with the core theme and moral of the movie, like
the Chekhov's theme.
yes,
Because
I
if
was
you're
like, I wonder where
familiar-
that's gonna fucking come.
If
back
you're
at.
familiar with the Flashpoint story, it's what he does.
I
He just
get
lets it play out so the timeline fixes itself. This was some other shit. And okay. So he runs real fast. I mean, he goes back in time. He makes sure his mom gets saved. It breaks the timeline. Okay, so here's the weird part. Oh, he's on his way back. He's like, all right, I'm gonna run real fast, and I'm gonna go back to present day, and he sees a monster.
A little fucking goblin.
A little goblin guy.
Poking around his memories.
Like, hey, who's that guy? And he kicks him out of the ball, and
Immediately forgets that happened.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, okay. I guess I wasn't
It's like,
supposed to be in there.
Yeah, he's like, I guess I'm home. You know what I mean? And then it's like it's one of those things where it's like I don't want to talk about the ending, but basically what I'm just gonna say right now because it makes the point I want to make is that. So I know you guys aren't familiar with the lore of the Flash at all. They did this in the TV show, and I happened to watch those episodes because I lived with my brother at the time, and we would sit on the couch and watch them. What they did here was they took a villain from the comics and they just didn't give him a name to complicate it. They just made him, future Barry, the Barry that never stops.
Yeah.
His real name is called Savitar. And what he is when Barry originally breaks
James Cameron was like, you can't use that name.
Yeah.
He's sitting there with the cigarette like, fuck no.
Yeah.
That's what the fire avatars are going to be
Yeah.
called.
So his name was Savitar, and he was when Barry breaks the timeline in the Flashpoint TV show, and I guess in the comic book, I don't know, the comic book is way more complicated because it's the whole DC universe, right? When he breaks the timeline, there's a remnant of him that goes rogue and goes into other dimensions and kills other Barrys, and his name is Savitar. The whole fucking point of the movie is the whole part of the arc is that you don't know who Savitar is. He's a speedster that can keep up with Barry, knows all about Barry, and has been killing other Barrys. But ultimately, the reveal is that it's just another Barry, which is kind of a lame reveal, let's be honest. So they skipped all the...
Why has he got the name Savitar?
I have no idea. They skipped all the pomp and circumstance. He was played by the guy who played the voice for Saw, the voice of the doll. So at least he had a cool voice and like a cool look. So I hear the fingers going. So they I guess they did away
That's
with
Liz in accounting.
Yeah. I guess they did away with all the pomp and circumstance. You know what I mean? They just got rid of like, let's just say he just gets crusty over time. You know what I mean? Over time.
I thought that part was cool where he's continually picking up like injuries and just building on literal like trauma metaphorically, if you want to do that. Like that was a cool kind of thing.
Yeah, but my problem is that the way that like it just bugs me the way that they did time travel in this movie, because I feel like the way that they explain the rules of time travel, which we'll get to the guy who explains the rules, but like I just feel like the way that they explain the rules, it was just like there is no stakes and no consequences, because it could just be whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There is no fixing it. You can try, but it might not go back to the way that you want it. And if you see the ending of the movie, that's absolutely what happens. You know what I mean?
And it's not in a like a, tragic irony type of way.
Not at all. It's not like a Rick and Morty either, where they're like, okay, it felt like the end of the movie when you see this. And this is when I first picked up on it, right? Because I knew that Savitar was another Barry. So I knew like that was good. He was going to be the villain, obviously. And so when I saw that, I was like, is this going to turn into one of these, like, Rick and Morty, where they show up at the fucking, they go to, exactly what I mean. It's like, well, they all have lizard tongues and they're like, all right, well, this is good enough. You know what I mean? And they just assimilate. That's what I feel like when you watch that first scene and you think about how they're doing this. Is this time travel or interdimensional? It seems that they can't figure it out which it is. There's no concrete rules. There's no stakes. They wrote a scene to kind of explain it, but then also said whatever. You know what I mean? Like it goes neither way, because there is no vision to or what the stakes are, how it should go.
And also, they don't have to. This is the end of all this shit.
Yeah.
They like...
Is it?
Well,
that's the thing.
Allegedly, this is the end of all this shit. So they could just... They're like, there's a loose end, there's a loose end, there's a loose end.
Yeah.
I'm not tying anything.
I feel
you think
bad.
if this is the Swan song, they'd want to be like Andy would be like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's put my best foot forward, because I just got given Batman.
No, this was 11 o'clock with a 12 a.m. submission online, cramming in 10 pounds of shit.
I think there's a lot. I have quite a lot of things to talk about when we finish this up about what they changed, though, because there is a lot that they changed.
Mm-hmm. I've just talking about like how this works into the just story of the DCEU and DCU.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so bad that I want Blue Beetle to just fucking just suck, because I don't want anything to carry over. I've been saying this for months. Wipe the slate clean. Don't be giving us a new character and say, maybe he's the bridge from this universe to that one. No. Start fresh.
James Gunn says Blue Beetle is the first movie in the new DCU.
I don't want any fucking stink of this Zack Snyder bullshit.
That's the official first stamp. That's what they said. But
does that include Aquaman too?
I have no idea.
See, and
I can't give you an answer because nobody knows. I have no idea. So, so the whole thing, he gets kicked out. He's in the past to when he was 19, 10 years before. And he meets his younger self, who is somehow even more obnoxious.
Yep.
And he's very fucking he's really just young is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and he seems like that version of Barry is somebody that we all know. We've
Yeah.
all met that person.
We know
In
that
college.
kid.
Yeah, in college.
We were friends with that guy. He was a dick. He was our dick.
He's a dick with a heart of gold.
Yeah, he's our dick. So then what ends up happening is they go to get Barry his powers, and in the heat of the moment, our Barry loses his powers and young Barry gets powers. I thought that was an interesting way to do the hero loses his powers, because it's almost like an origin story now of how he's telling I got my power, like I figured out how to do this by this, or like doing this is really hard, and then he just it's like, oh, because he's young and he's, you know what I mean, like yeah, exactly, and like it leads to a lot of these sequences where you see him, oh, his speed force is blue because he can't run as fast as the other Barry. He can't access the level of. That's why Barry's suit has to dispel energy, because Barry's way faster than this kid. Like it's fun to see that as a comic book nerd and be like, all right, at least the new Barry didn't just walk into this gig. You know what I mean? Like he's got to earn it. And that's what I liked. I liked that stuff. And I also liked this idea of like, I'm trying to save your life, but I can't tell you that I'm trying to save your life because it fucks things up. And then later on, like you think like, okay, that's the stake, the cerebral thing. Like you don't want to create this like cerebral like time loop or something. You know what I mean? The grandfather clause. You know, like will it even happen? You know?
Did they show Barry phasing in any of the other movies?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
That was cool. I like that.
Yeah.
He's done that a lot in the cartoon and comics. So
I just like a small step back. The scene where he actually does talk to Iris, as much as I feel like that was unnecessary, the humor in that scene I thought was great. Shit popping out of the was that scene? Yeah, shit popping out of the cabinets, and then him phasing into his neighbor's apartment and stealing the beer.
He just like physical comedy, and that scene was all physical comedy, and it was done well.
And Ezra like delivered it really well. So.
yeah.
I had a problem with the like, I have to save you, but I can't tell you, because he's like, I have to save you, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you one thing, but you're here for the entirety of the rest of the journey, doing everything. And it was like
the fact that we're here together alone is a big enough paradox where you should be able to tell him.
Right. Or not even that. And then he just overhears anyway that he's here to save his mom. And it's like, I don't really understand why he was like, I couldn't tell them that. Like, how do you tell him that? And he's kind of like, look, dude, I'm from a different universe. I just gave you superpowers. You can't tell me that your mom is dead in this universe. Like,
So Cyborg dies. Cyborg is not even in this.
No,
He doesn't die. He's just a football player.
He's a professional football player.
I love how he goes, whatever happened to him hasn't happened yet. Superman's MIA. Wonder Woman MIA. It's basically everybody but it's like, Batman's still, all right, let's go to Batman's house.
We got a lot of Back to the Future fun. in
Yeah.
that scene.
Yep.
I like to list Eric Stoltz jokes.
stuff. I knew you were gonna like that when I hear that. I'm like, good. I'm glad they threw something in here that he'll at least like hear it and be like, what was that?
I did also feel like that they threw elements of the Back to the Future theme into the music. I'm not 100% positive, but there was like stuff that I don't usually expect to be in this type of movie, like harps, which were featured in the Back to the Future theme.
Was your
I'm like,
Spotify going off in your pocket while the
right.
Danny Elfman theme?
My boner was going off
that's
during
what I
the Danny
figured. When I
Elfman.
heard that, I was
That's
like,
what I
well,
call
that's
my boner.
I was like, this Nick's gonna feel what I felt during during No Way Home during these scenes. Like,
Dude, when he did the "Let's Get Nuts" line, even though I already saw it in the commercials, I did get excited and point at the screen. I was like, Alexis, he's gonna say it.
mommy, watch.
mommy, look.
So so they do what's it called?
Kiss.
Yes. So they go to meet Batman, and there's just weird
For the cousins' dinner.
yeah, for the cousins dinner.
That was funny.
which I thought that was funny too. I'm like, I laughed along with the movie. I laughed at the movie.
Yeah.
There was
There was
some of the jokes were cringe. Some of them were done well.
I think the narrative and the characters, like Barry, the Barrys and their story, I think it's very compelling stuff. Everything else around them is just dead weight, though. Oh my god, it's just how do we make a Flashpoint movie interesting at this point in DC's career? And this is what they went with, and it's just fuck me. But anyway,
we get the Big Lebowski Bruce Wayne.
they did spaghetti, meatball, the sauce,
The fight scene was fun. 25 or 6-4 needle drop. That was fun.
Yeah.
And I love when our Flash gets hit in the face with a can and he can't dodge it.
Yeah.
That was a fun showing of loss of powers. He has new powers. He's having fun with it.
The new Barry is learning how to dodge, and when he does move out of the way, Bruce smashes into that fucking table. That was great.
More physical comedy.
More physical. Yeah, I guess you guys have me pegged.
Nick's a big Stooges guy.
Nick's
His
into
favorite,
pegging.
his favorite was Shem though.
Shemp. There's a P.
Okay.
See, there you go.
Shemp.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ask. I'm just gonna keep going.
Shem.
I'll ask you later. On PUBG. So they meet Batman. Batman's like, I won't help you, because of course he's not gonna say yes immediately. Because what screenplay would this be if
They fixed all the crime in Gotham.
Yeah, I was just like, man, fuck you.
I do like that this is the first time that Gotham's ever been safe in any piece of
Except
media.
it's still gray and his house is overgrown.
Well, that's just because he's a hermit. That has nothing to do with it.
We don't have Alfred in this
Yeah, well,
timeline.
Alfred would be how many
Alfred
fucking...
died.
Alfred's an inevitability.
Alfred
Yeah.
died.
Yeah. Yeah, we know.
Well,
He's old.
Did we see...
Yeah, he had an Alfred.
Yeah,
He
they
did,
had
he had
Alfred.
No,
Alfred.
I was going to say, did he die or he just got sick in the movies?
No, we never saw him die. Remember, he got sick and
He
George
got
Clooney
some Mr.
gave him,
Freeze shit
he
in
gave
his
him some
blood.
Mr. Freeze juice, and he was fine. But
But this is also
it blew
I don't
out his
know.
kidney
He got
later
some
on.
Super Devil juice.
Call this what, 15 years down the line or something like that? How old do you
Well,
think?
it's... What year does the movie take place?
Well, how old do you think the Batman is?
How old is Michael Keaton?
Is Michael Keaton's Batman in this compared to?
I have no idea.
No, but,
and I wondered that myself.
How old do you
Too
think
old.
Michael
Like,
Keaton
it's at
was
least,
in the original Batman movie?
30 something.
Yeah, so this is how old is Michael Keaton now?
He's 72, 73.
All right, so this is Alfred would be like 115 years old.
Yeah, he would.
Because
Be
he was
a
old as fuck in those movies.
robot.
He's dust
Oh, that'd
right
be
now.
cool. Robot Alfred.
See,
Love
more
me,
physical
Mr.
comedy.
Wayne.
Anyway, so
I am Butler Bot.
I am Butler Bot. Butler Bot.
Make me spaghetti.
So
So he says he's not helping.
he's not helping.
But use all my shit.
We use all my shit. That's right. So
Well, he doesn't even say use my shit. He just walks away and they're
Yeah.
like, well, we'll use his shit.
They didn't tell us to leave.
they start using his shit, and I guess they figure out where Superman is. So, and
he helped. He gives
and
them a
here's-
copy
and
of
here's
a
where I
He's
started-
zoned out. Batman figured that out for him.
Batman gave him a copy of a redacted report that said he's in Siberia.
He found the Pentagon Papers with where
well,
with
wait.
all
I
the
thought
secrets.
I thought he's like he has a back door into the Pentagon because of course he does.
Yeah.
No,
And then he
into
couldn't figure it out.
NASA.
Into NASA.
He couldn't figure it out. And then when he woke up the next morning, Batman had put together a dossier for him. Here's
With a cup of coffee.
Because
Oh,
he
yeah,
convinced him by talking into that one camera computer and being heartfelt for 30
imagine if
seconds.
they put a scene together of
Exactly.
Batman and the Flash talking and
They
having
did.
a human moment.
They did. They
yeah,
did,
but I
and
mean,
that was
that could have been a moment.
You're right, and I feel like that. Now that you say it, that could have been the catalyst. But when he asked him, "Why did you decide to help me?" He said, "Because you actually ran through time to try and save your parents." While he goes, and I realized this entire time I've been trying to save mine. Like that, I felt was like that's why Batman and the Flash are friends. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's like Batman and the Flash are like, it's like a weird like father-son type of relationship, right?
Yeah, it's like a Iron Man, Spider-Man kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're boys, but it's more like a mentorship as well, you know what I mean? Because both their parents are dead.
The Flash's
Yes,
dad
Pat.
is not dead.
He's in jail.
He's a dead.
He's legally dead.
Yeah, he's in prison, guys.
Either way though, so yeah, they decide they're gonna help get Superman in Siberia, and this is where I started to feel that I would have rather have not known that any of this was happening, because if I found out in this moment that the plan was to go get Superman and I'm sitting here going, is it Henry Cavill? Are they fucking getting Henry Cavill? He's in this movie too? Oh shit. And then it's Sasha Cavill. Oh, Supergirl. Who the hell is this bitch?
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then you're like, I don't know what her deal is. And then you're like, we got to get her in the sun. She's Kryptonian. You're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like,
well, she ends up inevitably in the sun, and you start seeing like, you know,
The
her
hand-
skin, like
yeah.
her skin
Yeah.
become less like grizzled.
yeah.
And then you're like,
Oh,
fuck.
shit. She's Krypton. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like instead of telling me in the marketing and that we were going to get this girl and telling me that we were going to do this and telling me that, like, oh, we have a Kryptonian, we have a this, we have that. You know what I mean? It's like, it should have been more creative to keep me like, we already got the Batman surprise. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, Batman's suiting up to help out. You know, he's not just Michael Keaton with a beard. Which, by the way, the beard looked like a Santa Claus beard.
I don't care. He looked cool.
I said he looked like
No.
the big
I'm not
Lebowski.
saying like I didn't like the way his beard made him look like Santa Claus. I mean, they sent a PA to Party City and got a Santa Claus beard because they forgot to get a fucking beard.
I feel like Michael Keaton requested it.
So,
It's like, I want to start out with long hair and a beard.
It made me look like Santa.
Yeah.
So then he plays Batman again, and was this like his first night out in a while, I guess, and this is when I was more confused about how old is this fucking guy. Like, I get it with Spider-Man, what's his name's 46, 47?
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. He's like 46, 47 years old, but also at the same time, I'm like, yeah, he's genetically altered. He might age slower. He might still be this limber and all, you know, he's not as, like, you can tell, like, he's not as quick or not as, like, acrobatic as the two younger Spider-Men, but he still can hold his own. Where this one, the entire time, I was like, yo, he's just a dude. And, like, nobody mentioned his age, so I'm assuming he's 70, which is when they shot this.
And he is doing
Like,
more
I can't-
physical things than most other Batmans do.
Exactly. And that was the other thing too, is just like, this is I am a fan of Ninja Batman in the sense that we hug to the shadows and we strike silently and fiercely, and when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, we can fuck people up pretty good. My problem here is that
This is the
there
Hulk.
was some fucking Azrael shit where he had like these wings and flew down and hit people, and then like there was also this bit of like, well, Batman got shot in the last one, so Batman's now bulletproof in all media. You know, like I saw that like the suit also looks a little flappy at times, doesn't look very taut. You know what I mean? Like, I get the Robert Pattinson one was supposed to look like, you know, we put you know,
liquid paper on a bee.
no, like I get the Robert Pattinson
died.
one was supposed to look like literally like a shirt with camo on it, or like not camo, with Kevlar on it,
Kevlar.
right? This one is though like, no, it's the Burton thing, so it's got to be it's got to look like armor, but be like hard plastic. Yet when he stood in some places, you could see the inseam in his crotch. It's just like, what they got to fix the pants, man.
I didn't notice that
There's
at all.
something wrong with the pants.
Also,
like,
the fact it can be like hacked through by a hacksaw,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
also
but
bulletproof.
also
I know that. I'm
got
nitpicking
shot
there,
in the
but
head, like
It looks like cosplay. It looks
It
like
does.
it looks
Looks
like
like a
he's
Batman
going to
cosplay.
Comic-Con.
How fucking hilarious was it when Ezra turns where the other Barry wearing the fucking headpiece
that
and it's
was
all
like
stretched out?
Yeah.
That was I laughed so hard at that.
that was good.
Physical comedy.
Fuck.
We need a drop that just says physical comedy.
Physical comedy.
did you like the barf?
It didn't. Barf doesn't really.
Why
do
was
much
it
for me,
green?
but it was bright fucking green.
It was really funny though. I thought that was great. I thought he was like how he explained the rules to him, like you can't move people, but you can move things around people, or you can move things out of the way of people.
He
It's
said
just
no. He was like, you can move people as long as they're in a microwave.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
He didn't say that.
He did.
he
said,
definitely
No,
did
he
not
said you
say-
can
Not
move
exa-
things like a microwave.
Yeah,
He
but
didn't
he
say
moved a
pe-
baby in a microwave.
Yeah,
and the
but
baby
he
didn't blow
didn't
up.
say you can move a person in a microwave.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said that in my head because. But I was
So-
like, okay, that baby was fine. It
And he
didn't like.
moved
But
all,
then he
he
moved
moved
all-
all those babies.
He moved-
I think he only moved them a few inches.
Yeah,
I think
and
that's
if you
supposed.
watch if
be
you
what
watch the credits, he's just going like this, slightly just adjusting their trajectory.
He's not like walking with them.
Whereas
It's
like
fine.
he ran like
grabs
across the
Ezra
room.
and moves, and Ezra says to the other Ezra, "What did you do?" And then he just throws. I was like,
Shook him up like a martini.
I moved you.
It wasn't that far. Also, in his defense, there was like 5 people shooting at them. Probably easier to just move him and have him throw up a bit.
Agreed.
Easy for you to say.
So
You're not throwing up.
That's right. I'm not.
I'd
So they
rather
get-
die.
So they get Supergirl out. Supergirl, she punches everybody for them.
Stops Bruce from getting shot in the face.
Which, like, it's one of those things where it's like, this is also the part of the movie where I was like, it's weird that Batman's a supporting character because, like, Batman would have never gotten them into this situation. Like, because, like, ultimately,
this is all crazy Batman.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting there and I'm just like, this is not the Batman. Like, but that's the thing is that, like, and like that a part of me was like, maybe this is a different Michael Keaton Batman, not the one that we know. But then also a part of me is just like, but did they say that? Like, that's the thing is that there was no, you know what I mean?
He's just been
Like,
drinking wine and eating
So
pasta
just
for,
know
like,
every
40
single
years.
time that you watch Batman and Batman Returns, eventually Zod is gonna invade that universe.
I
Like,
Yeah.
Can
you know what
I-
I mean? Like,
This is a different universe.
yeah.
Is
I
it,
need.
though?
I think so.
That's
I
the
need
I think
to.
it is because this is the one that Ezra Miller fucked up.
Yeah, like I think
Not
I'm
the
gonna
Flash,
make. I'm gonna
Ezra
make a
Miller.
leap here. So I
Do it.
Okay. So I think the reason, obviously, we know like younger Barry is slower, but he can like still like kind of shake through things, whatever they called it,
phase.
We
phase.
call that phasing.
And so I think that's because like other Barry is nervous and freaking out all the time, probably because he didn't have like a stable childhood. Like this kid had like a normal upbringing, so he's more confident in
This
his
kid smokes
abilities to
weed.
be the Flash.
And he knows how to be the
But then
Flash.
on the flip side of this
It's
Batman,
cool to smoke weed with the Flash kids.
this Batman sucks at being Batman because Gotham had no crime, so no need for Batman to do Batman
Well,
things.
that's
He
not
was the best Batman because he solved crime, and then he became the worst Batman
Yeah,
because there
like,
was no
I
crime.
think
And then
That's a
he
great
also
point.
had no Justice League, so he had no reason to like be the leader of anything and like get his organizational skills together on,
Yeah, and he
dropping in
gets
from a plane.
lot of
He gets-
awards.
He gets all hyped up. He's like, they're like, yeah, you're the best detective in the world. And he's like, you know what? I am.
So I think there's some things to say about this alternate
So,
universe, like changing personalities and abilities.
So then we get to Sasha Cal. She helps them out. They go back to Batman's house, and
I think that's the best way you could have said that.
She's
Helps
like-
him out. Yep, that's about it.
They punch for a bit.
Kills a bunch of dudes.
She fucks people
It's
up.
okay, they're Soviets. In this universe, the Soviet Union never fell.
That's right. USSR. You know. Ooh, do do do. So then she's like, "Fuck this. Zod is my people." I'm like, all right, cool. Because she doesn't like the humans.
Yeah,
Because
she's
you
like,
know.
y'all locked me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Understandable.
guys help me, but I don't trust you
So
because you're the same race as these people,
So-
and I am prejudiced against all this race.
so she
I
leaves.
So I'm
believe
gonna
in
leave.
an ethno state. And
Oh, good God.
She leaves, and then she sees that the Kryptonians are horrible for about 0.38 seconds.
That's no. 38 seconds. Come on.
and then
Oh, you said 0.38 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's correct.
and then she turns around and is like, "Hey, remember what I said before? That's a
Fuck
stupid
all
thing."
that.
she's like, I was in prison for years.
Yeah.
You
But,
guys have
um,
said so like twice amount of words that she got in this
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
yeah, I thought it was hysterical. She's like, I was in prison for years and I was a POW and just all these crimes, but he killed that one soldier.
Yeah,
I'm with you guys now.
and that's an important soldier.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel like I'm a real big piece of shit. So.
It's either they should have either not done this part of the storyline, or they should have cut a lot of other things and really focused on this part of the story.
Or had them have that conversation
Yep,
That
rather
they
than
had
her coming to that
earlier.
realization.
early. Or, yeah, have the conversation before they just started fighting
Yeah,
later on and have her leave
yeah,
and then him trying to come find her. And then she's like, you know what? I want to partner up with you guys.
yeah.
Because like she has no direct motivation to turn on Zod realistically.
Yeah.
Turn on. Well, okay. So the other thing was like, I think the other thing that weirded me out was just like about her character was just like the This is another one of those things that was hyped up, and then when it gets to the time for the showdown between her and the other Kryptonians, like she just does not show up at all, and like gets her ass beat hardcore. And like here's the thing is that I see a lot of people like, well, of course she would. Like she's never had to fight other Kryptonians. And I'm like, and you fucking people sit here and talk about Man of Steel, about how he put that fucking costume on 20 minutes before they showed up at his mom's house.
He trained on a farm.
Yeah, exactly.
He did work on a fisherman boat.
And you people are fine with that. Why can't she just show up and kick ass either?
Well, their explanation in the movie, it's like, oh, he's been training mentally to deal with all the extrasensory stuff from the Earth, as well as like he was just living a normal life.
Yeah.
Whereas
And she's also a
fucking-
teenager.
She's a teenager, and she was in a giant fucking
Red Sun. She was in a Red Sun.
yeah. She was stuck in a giant lead bubble
Yeah.
for her entire
There's a
life.
bunch of meat lights just
Yeah.
cooking you.
Cooking her.
So of course, yeah.
But these are so then they go to the desert. Now this is where Act 3 starts to set in, and here's the problem I had with this is that there's a lot of cool moments, like there's a lot of awesome moments where both the Flashes use their powers. Supergirl does some cool stuff, Batman does some cool stuff. There's this awesome idea where they fuck up horribly and they decide to go back in the Chrono Bowl and go back in time. Michael Shannon has a moment to talk about how the infant did not survive. He killed the original Superman in this universe. And so either way, by the way, you know how you know this is a DC movie? Because there was an obligatory Superman cameo that you saw nobody's face. So, you know what I mean? There was, so that's how you know it's cream of the crowd.
Do you think that they went with going with Kara because Henry Cavill was like, no.
No, well, I think at the time they shot this, he wasn't back yet. But I have some stuff to tell you guys once we, because I don't want to get too much into the special thing.
Special
but,
edition.
yeah.
Can we talk about how we're not aiming for the truck, Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw fucking suicide bomber Batman.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, a fucking kamikaze Batman over here. What the fuck?
I know. It just decides, and also like hysterically that this Batman can't understand that there's probably shields on that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, in his
he
universe,
never
there
had
was
to
never
deal with
aliens.
shields.
I guess so.
He's only
but
ever dealt with Jack Nicholson
He's also another Batman.
and Danny DeVito.
Also,
He's a boomer. He doesn't know what shields are.
I don't know what fucking
Boomer
shields are.
Batman.
Well, remember
Boomer Batman.
This Batman also dealt with it's the same those original
technically
movies.
yes,
but yes.
Anyway,
we
saw Batman
It
hit
was
the side of a
Schumacher's.
wall and explode and do
Yeah,
no damage
that
to
was-
anything.
insane. I was like, oh my god. I was like, they're real. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I was like, they're okay. I guess they're killing Batman in this.
Dude,
I was like,
we
I didn't
saw-
see that coming. That's ballsy. All
we
right.
saw Suicide Batman
Yeah.
in the same movie that we saw Baby in Microwave Flash.
You want to know what it reminded me of?
That's
You
the
ever see
takeaway.
that? You ever see that GIF of Batman flying and going like this?
Yes.
And then it just cuts to a fucking plane hitting the World Trade Center. That's exactly what they did in this movie.
oh boy, I
Barry
can't wait for
looks
that
at him.
edit.
Barry looks at him from the ground, and Batman sees him in the car. Is like, and then he crashes into.
Do you think that's a reference to
going
the
alone.
meme?
Dude, I swear to God, this Michael Keaton Batman is just like I read memes for the past 10 years.
Yep.
I know how to play this character.
Like,
I know
Did you
what
guys see this one? Did
Yeah.
you see this one on
I know.
Facebook?
I know what the people are looking for. He's like, and he holds up that one meme of Val Kilmer, the one that says, "Remember when I played Batman?" He's like, "How can we work this one in?" Like,
Do this one.
I forgot to mention this earlier. You were saying about like all of the physical stuff. It's very Looney Tunes. I think that's very intentional because they even put a Looney Tunes poster in Barry's apartment.
And he does the Speedy Gonzalez.
Yes,
thing.
he does
Yes.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because even the other Barry's like,
He's like,
yes,
"Yes,
I
I
did
did
that too. So we have this desert fight. There's some cool Barry scenes. They find out they can stab them with Kryptonian steel. There's one part where the Flash just straight up reverse flashes some guy and rips his heart out through
Yeah,
face,
man.
which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
But ultimately, once again, I sat there. I was just like, why am I not just being blown away by like, did they have no ideas for this? Were they like, we should have Barry let loose here. Like these guys are gonna like, this is state of the world type of thing. One Barry should be working on the world engine while the other Barry should be fighting all these guys.
Did that whole thing about how he could only save one person at the world engine.
Batman should be he took on Namek, which is the big Kryptonian, and like it's cool that like they killed each other, but ultimately I didn't feel anything for that death because they already had killed Batman.
Yeah.
And they did that thing where they run back in time, and you know, I thought that was going to be the thing, like they're going to keep trying. I was like, okay, so now we're going to Doctor Strange won this. We did this almost 10 years ago already, which is weird. And then it kind of devolved into what actually is the climax of the movie. And that's where I felt was like, this was underwhelming as an action sequence in general because I wasn't really blown away by the things that were happening. Also, there's this really weird scene there was definitely meant to be a Barbie girl needle drop because it's in the credits of the movie where he says, come on, Barbie, and Barry goes, let's go party. And like, there's definitely supposed to be a Barbie girl needle drop.
Which is weird.
This
and
is
I think
like shit that happened on Suicide Squad in 2016.
And
you know what I mean?
I feel they use Salute Your Solution by the Raconteurs as that like, which is like, I mean, the song is about, you know, like basically like continually fighting a problem basically in a way. But like I think to your point, I was like, that whole scene felt so, I don't know, stripped of everything because they were like, let's put an upbeat fun song and like have fun while we're fighting. So there was no
gravity.
There's no gravity to it.
But and that's the thing is that like they also just didn't cut out the come on Barbie. Did they think that was too good of a moment? It had no character moments.
It had
just
no
wasn't
reference to anything.
It was also I was just like, okay, I guess, sure.
Do you guys agree that the action was just pretty run of the mill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
That's
a
what I'm
couple of
saying,
sequences like when Batman was flying and what's the guy's name? Turok, the dinosaur hunter.
Yeah.
He's hanging on.
No,
and
Namek.
Namek, yeah. And he's fucking spinning
Spinning.
around. That was a cool idea.
Yeah.
But for the most part, all of the fighting was just so average.
It's
so
also
mid.
it's also one of those things where it's like, is this not the Batman that drove into a fucking factory with machine guns blazing and dropped a bomb at the end of it to destroy all the Joker's like toxin? Is this not the Batman that what's it called? That destroyed a freight train, kidnapping young children in the streets of Gotham at night? This is a Batman who we've known to see have like some sort of
Dance
like
with the devil in the pale moonlight.
this Batman, yes. This Batman had machine guns on a plane that he used to get rid of. My point is that he's an arsenal. He's armed.
Yeah.
This Batman uses
and
guns.
dangerous.
Why did I see none of that here? I like
He just
there was
spin
no
around in the
tact.
plane.
There was no like
plane
Whee!
go woo.
Also, like the assault on the Siberian thing, I like how they just drop out of the fucking plane, which is like, it's cool. Batman wouldn't have, but also like that
Then walk
Batman
half a mile.
would have, yeah, exactly. like, yeah, let's just climb up. Like, no, that Batman should have landed like on top of somewhere, been silent, be like,
And
I'm
cloaked the
deactivating.
plane.
Yeah, and like deactivated the security system and then took out a bunch of guys. It's like, no, let's just walk through.
What do you think
Like,
about the?
there's none of that. You know?
He pulled out the gadget and he goes, "How much do you weigh?" And he,
Yeah.
like, I
was
liked
funny.
that. I liked that because it
But
actually.
do you know where
made
that's
you think-
from, right?
No.
It's from the first movie when he fucking gives Vicky Vale the thing, like, because remember he gives her the grappling hook and he goes, "How much do you weigh?" Because he's gonna hold on to her and put it on his belt and go up. So I was like, that's fun because that's a reference. It also makes sense in the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, but like you want to get nuts, let's get nuts. I felt nothing on that because it was just out of place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It was just a drop for a drop.
It's
Exactly.
the same as the "Come on, Barbie, let's go party."
Yes. Like when he did the "How much do you weigh" thing, yes, that was a nice callback. Trying to think, what was the other? Okay,
What do you think when Barry got shot in the leg?
I was like, what the fuck?
I like
So
when
is he
was-
supposed to heal or not? Like, what's
Yeah.
our
he
what's
was,
our
but he doesn't-
threshold for
he doesn't heal
healing?
immediately? And-
Except for every other instance.
That's fine.
And then this one was like convenient
Well, when
for
he's
him
getting
to have an injury.
when he's getting his powers, it takes, you know.
Which, by the way,
it's quick because there's other onslaught.
which, by the way, we didn't mention in the beginning when Barry loses his powers, he loses a tooth too, and he super glues it back in.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why that happened.
Because they needed a joke to end the movie.
Yeah, but then
on.
he like swallows the tooth and coughs.
The other
it up
Barry
the other one.
does.
Yeah,
The
I was
other
like, why
Barry
are you
does.
making me watch this?
Yeah.
Oh, come on! Why are you showing me this?
the other. Hey, come on! What are you doing here? Yeah. That was that was a rough watching that happen, but I like the way that they did. Like, that's the other thing too, is that like I haven't even mentioned the connections to the actual shit that happens in the Flashpoint universe, and that was one of them. The scene where he gets his powers back. I love the bat kite. That had me dying.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we're back to a Batman who just puts the bat symbol on anything because fuck you.
What did you guys think about him getting flown up into the sky? Rather than recreating the experiment and having the chemicals, he just gets hit by lightning.
That's even what's. I feel like that was supposed to give her something to do because remember how she was
This
like,
is what
"I
you were
got
talking
you"
about,
after he said, "I got you," and it's one of those things that's like this was an afterthought because they were doing the comic book up until that point. Barry doesn't get his powers on the first one, and he's mortally wounded, and it takes all his strength. And him and Thomas Wayne Batman put him back in the chair, and they say, give it another go.
Yeah.
And he gets it again. And he finally gets his powers. This one,
but did he have the chemicals?
They were around him.
This one, I just feel like it was like, okay, they're just trying to give her something to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because there's also no chemicals involved with this either.
If I was her, I would be so disappointed that this was like my intro into like such a large franchise.
This is her first movie ever.
Yeah, she just did that other.
And she's fucked.
What if she just took him up there to kill him? Like,
it just drops him.
No, just like lets him get shot and brings down a corpse that's like toasted and is like, here, fuck you guys humans. Like, I'm out.
So, he gets his powers. He gets his powers back. You know, they do the whole desert thing we talked about, and then we get to the Chrono Bowl, and this is where they keep the new Barry, young Barry, keeps trying to go back in time to
perfect
the fight, but he finds out this is an inevitability. This is supposed to happen here. This is supposed to.
My world ends.
Yeah, pretty much like this. Like this is supposed to happen. So then they rush this whole plot, which I feel like if they would have just focused on this and like, stop. I gotta focus on the moment. I really just want to get to the point where I'm like, man, let me tell you why this is some bullshit. But they get to this moment, and the stuff in here I thought was cool. I didn't have a problem with the CGI in here at all. I thought the desert was fine too. I thought the babies in the beginning were awful.
Yep.
Everything else, honestly, I thought was fine.
Talking about the desert? Oh, that's
just
where the battle.
That's where the battle was. So then, the CGI in here is fine, and they're talking about because they're fucking up the timeline so much at this point. These universes are collapsing in on each other. So I guess that makes this a good time to talk about some cameos. Wouldn't you say there, guys?
Can I just say, I actually, the one part I liked about this whole inevitability conversation, how every time he came back with more of that like Kryptonian shield in him.
Yeah.
And like you kind of saw it building up, and then like other Barry is like processing it. I thought that was probably one of like the best done scenes in this movie, as he's like processing himself being the inevitability, and like something went so totally wrong, and he's like putting two and two together, and the other Barry keeps coming back and back, and he's like, what are you just gonna do, keep standing there and keep standing there, da, 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 da. And I think if there was like one impactful scene in the movie, that was it.
100%. Like when he first kills the guy with like the sickle basically on his arm, and then normal Barry is kind of like, oh, like that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And then like that's when really like all that tension starts, and then you really start to like kind of feel the climax.
When he has no reaction to just killing someone.
So obviously we saw Ben Affleck Batman, Jeremy Irons Alfred, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman right off the bat. Those are the first three we see.
Did we know Gal Gadot?
Tamora Morrison. God, what's her? What was he? Aquadad, but he's also
Jango Fett.
Dances
oh my
with
God,
Boba
that's
Fett.
right.
Yes.
I was like, why does that look familiar?
Nicholas.
This is I was so
this
ready.
was the
for
one
this.
that got fucking ruined for me. The director just talked about it in an interview I was watching. I was like, what
this
the fuck?
this got spoiled.
Yeah.
That blows.
So when this happened, Nicolas Cage as Man of Steel. So as you guys don't know, there's this movie out there called what is it? The Death of Superman or some shit like that.
Where it's just
test
footage.
It's test footage in this documentary about them making a movie about Superman with Nicolas Cage. And unfortunately, the project never went off the ground. Tim Burton ended up doing Batman instead, or had he already done Batman?
This was, I think, post-Batman. So this would have been off of the success of his Batman movies. And this would have been fucking insane.
Yeah.
This would have been nuts.
That would have been
Want to get nuts? So he shows up, and even so did the giant robotic spider, which was like a big sticking point of the producers or the writer of this movie. And that's like part of the reason why the project didn't go forward, was because he insisted there be a giant robotic spider.
And then that spider wound up going in that producer's next movie, Wild Wild West.
Yep. That is exactly right. So then here was one I did not see coming. Adam West, Burt Ward, and Cesar Romero.
I don't remember seeing Burt Ward and Cesar Romero.
They're behind Adam West in the frame. So they show up and they have these cameos. I had heard some rumors that this might be a thing. What I heard was they jump through multiple universes and they run into these people here and there, or like different parts of the movie where it's like, this Batman, Adam West Batman can help. Well, what Batman is going to help us do that? Yeah. You know what I mean? And then they go to...
they're fighting a shark. Who's going to help us fight this shark?
Exactly. Or like they're running so fast while they're fighting. I thought Reverse Flash was going to be in this too.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe they're fighting Reverse Flash and they punch them. They punch out of a fucking into a multiverse on accident.
Yeah.
And it's like, exactly. And all of a sudden it's like, why is the Joker surfing or something? You know what I mean?
Shit, no, Spider-Man did that too well.
Pat, I know you got more coming up, but it just blows my fucking mind that what we said at the very beginning was you have all of these characters, alternate versions, with actors that are still alive, and you don't have them actually do anything. They're just like almost like posters in the background of the movie.
Literally just posters.
George Reeves Superman. So this guy played Superman in a TV show.
It was the first live screen iteration of Superman.
I've heard about this too. Go ahead.
Controversial
because
this role apparently did a lot of like mental issues.
Well,
among other things.
It's one of those things where Superman's a big opportunity. It's pretty much one of those roles that's like you're the talk of the town. And at the time when you play Superman, you're the first guy to ever play Superman live action. Not only did that go to his head, there was a lot of things with like children who like really loved this guy. Apparently, a child brought a gun to him one time.
Yeah, to try and
shoot him, and he was
to see if he was
really, and like he talked him out of it.
Yeah,
like actually talked him out of it.
But like this role took a lot of toll on the man.
Yes, because he was like getting fucked up and partying and everything. And like the fame and all that stuff. But then afterwards, he had his career fell apart because I think it's a combination of things. Because everybody always wants to. I think there's a combination of things. I think it's not only the mechanism of Hollywood was like he had his time. We're moving on to someone young and new. I think there's that because that was because now older actors can get work. It's who's right for the part. But not only was it the Hollywood machine, I think he had developed some habits. And then not only was he not getting work after that, he obviously wasn't making money. He still had these issues. He still had these vices. So I think it was a combination of things. I just don't believe they were like, yeah, this guy had an awful time. Let's put him in the movie. I think they put this in the movie because they thought no one would think of it. And they're right. Nobody did.
Yeah, and he ended up taking his life eventually.
Exactly. Like it's a sad story, and I'm not saying I don't feel sympathy, but what I am saying is I don't think Warner Brothers is nefariously.
They weren't doing it out of malice.
But people were kind of like, "Oh, that wasn't,"
I could be wrong too. If somebody wanted to correct me, I would not be opposed to that either.
But when you'll get to the other one, that's a big middle finger.
Christopher Reeve?
Nay whiny. So Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater, they cameoed as Superman and Supergirl from their respective universes. What's the problem with Christopher Reeve?
Christopher Reeve, as we know, had a debilitating injury and was paralyzed.
What was it?
Fell off a horse.
Okay, I just want to make sure you knew. Yeah.
Fell off a horse.
I was like, let's tell us.
Was paralyzed for the latter half of his life.
Nobody knew what the problem was. They're like, why are you in that chair?
Why are you in the chair? He was only ever depicted once post his paralysis as a Superman, like as him standing up. And because he was a huge advocate for people with disabilities, people with like injuries and things like that. So a lot of people were like, oh, I find that and he was very outspoken about that. He was like, I don't want to be in this current state portrayed as a big, strong Superman. He's like, I want to take the image of Superman that it was, who I am, and empower people who are like me with this type of, injury and things like that.
You can still live a life and be Superman even if you're not.
And you don't have to take me out of this
Yeah.
chair to do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were like, that's in real fucking poor taste to have him up and standing and that's what I get both sides.
Sure.
But I was like,
Good people on both
Just
sides.
gotta ask a question. Would they have preferred a Superman in a wheelchair?
Or just not feature him at all.
I mean,
you
they could have done. Brandon Routh was right there.
Honestly,
you know what I mean? Like,
at this point,
that's kind of my point.
I was shocked that we went mostly Superman. I really thought we were going to do Nicolas Cage. I wasn't expecting. I'm glad we got him. I really thought we were going to get Brandon Routh, maybe Christian Bale, maybe what's his name, the current Batman.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Since you brought him up, I will tell you right now that was a considered ending.
I mean, that would have
made a lot more fucking sense.
It would
what we
have
got.
made more sense than just have this journey down memory lane.
Yeah.
Weird. It almost felt like they were trying to make every Chrono Ball look like a film
Yes.
reel.
Yeah.
It's like this is an homage to Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I was like,
Not
you're homaging
our characters.
You're homaging movies, not.
It's also
universe.
one of
Yeah,
these weird things where it's happening during what's supposed to be the emotional climax of the
Yep.
film, and none of these characters are involved with that. So it's not like we're cutting up to close-ups of Andrew and Toby's reaction during the fight with their big villains. We're cutting to characters for nostalgia bait.
Yeah.
And
It's like
none of them are
yeah.
the Flash.
So then,
And
Teddy
none of the-
Sears as Jay Garrick.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So apparently it actually wasn't Teddy Sears. He's come out and said,
It
I did
wasn't
not
him,
film
yeah.
that. I know it looks like me, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then and then I'll save the
Yeah,
last
save
one
it.
for the end.
All
one.
of these CGIs looked bad.
bad.
That Nicolas
But again,
Cage
it's like
graphic,
they were supposed to. I
No.
think.
No, I think these ones.
I think
were
these
supposed to
ones
be-
were supposed to be a little bit more photorealistic,
Dude,
and they did
to
not
me,
make the mark.
They looked like I disagree with you. That's fine if you don't think so. But there was no way they thought that looked real.
But there
what
was,
they could have
there was
done-
some scenes. Hold on, wait. I just want to
Yeah.
rebuttal that. There were scenes that took place inside those universes, looking in to the two Barrys in Savitar.
Yeah.
The two Barrys in Savitar and the inside look what I thought they were supposed to look like. The outside world looked like a fucking Xbox 360 game. That is truthfully. I do not say that ever. That CGI looked so bad it looked like a video game. It really did.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't think it was a style thing. I truthfully believe they put all the budget into the two Barrys, and then when they got
You're
bought out,
saying-
they were like, cut the fucking,
You're
it's
saying
done.
Their
It's
big
done.
climax is where they cut the budget.
That's exactly
I
what
would
I'm
say
saying.
it would make more
Nick,
sense.
Look
if
at all the evidence.
My issue.
all there,
my
man.
issue
any
with
of the
those-
other Chrono Ball scenes and the baby scene, the baby
scene in the credits, they blew all their money.
To me, that
It's obvious. You could tell.
You can tell that dog's tongue.
Oh my
But-
god! Fuck that dog.
I think if each universe had its own specific style, I would give you that. But each universe looked the same. Like it was kind of like if we had taken Christopher Reeve's universe and it was a little more like old school kind of comic-y looking, and then you had more of a sci-fi, like a very clear delineation in like Nicolas Cage's universe.
Like how across the Spider-Verse.
I was just about to
Yeah.
say
Yes,
that, like what they
exactly.
did with
There's
the
a
different
clear
art
different
styles.
art style, and that's just not.
yeah, like, and I didn't see it.
They
Personally,
all look like rubber people. I know that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that, and like when you're seeing it from the perspective of their world it still looks rubbery. It's not like, oh, we're looking outside the Chrono Ball
Yeah.
wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing that's what I'm saying. Is that I do believe that at some point some senior leadership was like, no more money for VFX. Like it's like we're getting bought out. It's over. We're putting this out as is, and we're just gonna hype the fuck out of it.
Because Nicolas Cage's face looked flat.
It looked bad.
That was horrible.
It looked bad. It looked like
They just
you know
took
what?
his Dead from Daylight skin.
I know. I think his Dead by Daylight skin looks
You know what
better.
it looked
Yeah,
like?
honestly.
You know what it looked like? It looked like, what is that? I watched a lot of Corridor Digital, and the
So
one
it
thing
looked like
they
a
taught
2D
me,
projection on a 3D map.
they
Yep.
looked like there was no pores on the face.
Oh, no subsurface
There's
scattering.
no subsurface scattering,
Yeah.
nothing for you to like take you out of the uncanny valley. All right, so
to me, just
It's a blow up
Okay.
doll.
last nail in the
because I still
last
got
nail
I
in the
got
coffin.
tweets.
I don't think that it was a stylized thing. I don't think they were going for like, oh, this is. To me, it was like they were like, this is as good as we can get it, and this is what the like. I don't think it was they cut the budget. I think that they were saying this is the best we can do because Nicolas Cage isn't coming in to shoot anything.
They said they did film with him though.
No fucking way do I believe.
Andy Muschietti said they filmed with him. I don't listen.
I don't believe. I don't
believe-
believe that.
I believe they fucking put all the balls on him and everything, and I believe they motion tracked his face and they took pictures, and I believe he did some movements or
and
anything.
they took some archival behind the scenes footage
Probably, yeah.
from the death of Superman. They didn't like actually de-age him or put him in a wig with long hair. It's just a fucking still from 30 years ago that they slapped onto.
Yeah, it looks,
Okay,
like, it looks
truthfully-
like how he looks in Con Air.
Truthfully,
Yeah, like-
I thought. Here's what I thought. I thought when I first heard that, I thought, okay, we're gonna get a sequence where we go in there, and Nicolas Cage is gonna actually give us a nice little performance, and it'll
Would've
be
been great.
fun, and it'll be great. And instead, it was just this, and I get, okay, that's cool, but also at the same time, it's like, it's just, it doesn't serve the narrative. It doesn't tell us anything. I just watched a multiverse movie where we go through multiverses and we meet other characters. The best parts of Doctor Strange are when he met the shitty versions of himself in the other universes and tried to fight him. The music fight is one of the coolest parts in that movie.
I mean, honestly,
Like-
if we had Across the Spider-Verse where all the other characters, come and help out, like you have the other Nicolas Cage cameo.
remember what I said? Remember I said in the Spider-Verse episode, I was like, there's a guy who didn't do this movie, who did the other multiverse movie, who's definitely
Yeah.
watching this one and was like, man, I really wish I did
Should've
the
been in
first.
that
Yeah.
film.
Exactly. And I think he's coming back for the third one though. So
Good.
but
But
go on.
they had Robert Pattinson and Nicolas Cage and Brandon Routh or all of these guys come and team up to help defeat Zod,
Where's Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern? That would have been a
that
slam
would have been
dunk.
fun.
Yeah.
Slam dunk. That would
It
have
would
been
have
great.
been cool if they were because if this is the end of an era, you take everything that you've got and you use it, and they didn't.
And you know what? I'm glad we're transitioning to the ending now because Nick, I don't think that this is a definitive ending. Here's what I think.
Cowards.
You're right. You're absolutely
Cowards.
right. You're absolutely right. So then the whole thing becomes the inevitability that is to happen is that he has to put the tomato back on the shelf. She has to make sure he has to make sure that his mother dies to correct the timeline. But we already learned earlier in the movie that the timeline's just a mess. It's just spaghetti. Sometimes
matter.
follow, they overlap. So it doesn't matter. You don't know what you're going to get. And that right there
Forrest Gump again.
is what tips you off to the
Life
ending.
is like a bowl of pasta. You never know
It's
what
just
you're
gonna
gonna
cross
get.
over
That-
itself.
That's what tips you off to the end of this movie. And the last cameo in the movie was the only cameo that elicited a reaction from the audience in my theater. People were like, "Oh my god!" And even we were like, "Holy shit!"
Oh yeah.
Like that was actually the last person I expected to see. Apparently that came 6 months ago, and there was 3 different endings before this. And the one that they screened at CinemaCon was different than the one
Val
that came in.
Kilmer.
It is. So the first one that they did was just Bruce. It was just Michael Keaton and Sasha at the courthouse when he gets out. And going forward, they're the Supergirl's basically the stand-in for Superman. And this is our new Batman. That was the plan. Because remember, he was in Batgirl too,
Yeah.
as the new Batman.
Wait, is Michael Keaton?
Was in Batgirl.
It was, and he was in the finale of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Then
Because he
when-
didn't
then-
kamikaze.
because remember I think their names are
He did Bukkake?
Abby and
He might have.
DeLuca. They were the two people that were overseeing DC films as the transition was happening. So when Black Adam came out, they're like, "Oh fuck!" Like we just Henry Cavill's back as Superman. So then they shot an ending with then it's the two original ones, and Gal and Henry are going to make cameos at the end too, and we'll establish that they're firmly in their roles. Then the buyout came, and the transition came, and the change in leadership came, and they were like, "Well, we can't fucking have this because we want to do our own thing." And now you have the ending that we currently have, which is, if it's supposed to be the reboot of the DCU or like the culmination or whatever, it's such a spit in your face narratively that like everything you've worked for, because like what you realize is that in the spaghetti conversation that it doesn't matter, and everything you've already fucked it up too much, it's going to be broken. And remember what I said to Mike this morning, because he came here to drop off some stuff, or pick up some stuff rather, and we were talking about it, and I said the moral of the movie is literally that episode of The Simpsons where Homer gets down to Bart's level and says, "Boy, if I can give you any advice, it's this: don't try." And because
that's it.
Because it's just a fucking anomaly that his dad, because in the new timeline, his dad looks up at the camera.
No.
He did that.
He
He
put
put the
put the tomatoes.
That's right.
So you're like, oh, okay, maybe he did an innocuous thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
And
the
it ripples.
innocuous thing that he did.
Those tomatoes made of George Clooney.
Yeah.
Is changing all of the tomato, and it's just like, it's this thing like, you just spent the whole movie learning how you fucked this up and
With
how you got
one can of
with one can of
tomatoes.
tomatoes and how you have to put it back.
But I love the
But you're still gonna do that.
I will say, I love the inevitability part of it. Well, the other thing is, like, we might not be able to save Mom, but we can still save Dad. That's what he says to the other Barry before Barry sacrifices his life to Savitar, thus creating the grandfather, where if it's written in time and he was supposed to get killed anyway, how could he have been there in the first place? It's just a loop. You've just opened up a time loop.
Well, I don't mind that, and I also like that they did that. The time disruptions work. Like, time is not linear, and it fucks things up forward and backwards. I've never seen that, and that's a cool concept to play with.
Yeah.
Wish we got more of it rather than just
So-
movie references.
Movies.
So then basically what ends up happening is the dad is free. Barry's like, "Okay, I'm fine with
Everything's normal.
Yeah, everything's normal now. This is fine." And it, like I said, it very much has that Rick and Morty vibe of, well, they eat with their tongues. I guess this is what we do now, because out walks George fucking Clooney as Bruce Wayne at the
And
end.
he's looking good.
He does look
He's-
good.
He's got all that
He looks good.
Casamigos money.
Yeah.
He looks good. It's just one of those things where I was just like, they had no idea how to finish this, because then the tooth falls out of his mouth and it cuts to the credits, and I was just
That's
like,
all, folks.
Yup. I was like, they had. I was like, they actually had no idea. They had not a fucking clue
Yeah, so
how to end this.
It goes in black, but then it gets stuck on his tooth, and the tooth pops out, and then he pulls open the hole, and then runs a little bit to make it, and then reverses into his mouth, and then he says, "That's all, folks." And
Can
And
I
it's
tell?
Zaslav in his tooth, and he's just like, I just got your money, like that.
Can we?
Fuck
I
you.
hate that you hypothesize that we should have had Robert Pattinson there, because now I'm just angry that it was George Clooney.
One of the plans that was discussed originally was they were gonna say, if this is good, let's attach this to Batman and let's make that a thing. I'm glad they didn't do that.
yeah,
If they introduced it not at that point, if they did it earlier during all the chrono balls, that would have been a better time to do it.
And also the other thing I just want to wrap all this in a bow with is just that I don't care. I don't care about the DC universe. Throw it all away. I don't
Let
care.
the past die.
Just
Forget
just let
yesterday.
it be over. Like,
That's why I
We'll
want
make the
Blue Beetle
greatest-
to suck.
we'll make the great escape.
we'll make the
Well,
greatest game.
you know what? Learn
They won't hear a word they say.
one. Love Boys Like Girls.
We'll
Can't wait to see
tell
them
them
this
anyway.
fall.
Watch it burn,
Let it die.
because
we are finally
we're finally free. tonight.
Liz,
So-
what were you just about to say?
Oh, good God. You got me in a boys like girls loop, and I don't
I thought you were
remember.
going to say some problems don't have any solutions.
Yes, some problems don't have any solutions. You
Just
just let it go.
Or problems have infinite solutions and none of them matter.
Yeah, also,
Yeah.
you're right. That problem had infinite solutions.
Listen, you guys, it's very much like Rick and Morty, that episode where they, with the whiteboard, where they make two realities. Remember, there's two dots on the screen, and he's like, see, it's like Schrodinger's cat, and like, it's all the cats, and he's like, or it isn't. You know what I mean? Like, it is and it isn't an infinite, you know. Actually, this is a long time coming. Let me get my whiteboard.
How about that post-credit scene? Was that just all improv or like a loose structure? And they're like, you're at this point, you're going to be beginning to tell Aquaman what happened to you, and by the end of it, you need to be getting beers.
Yeah.
Walk.
I think I have no idea.
Scene.
It doesn't seem that there was anything else out there that was. I'm sure other things were considered, but like I said, this
wasn't even funny.
It wasn't funny.
But this also means that we just, in this universe, we're like, you know who stays the same besides Barry? Aquaman.
This
Great.
can't be your Flash movie in your cinematic universe. I need 10 years of characters and 10 years of a storyline that is well written and that I am intimate with and that I have tattooed to my body. And then I need you to somehow boost Barry's profile over these movies. Give him a solo movie. Give him a fun movie with some guy that runs just as fast as he can. Just do it, right? And then give him the conflict to break the timeline. I'll fuck over all my friends. So that would matter. Make it a 2-part movie where it ends on a cliffhanger. Like, involve Reverse Flash. Make the Atlantean and the fucking the Themysciran war happen. Like, do Thomas Wayne, do it right.
And you can still have Batman
This
cameos.
is like the fucking Phoenix story from X-Men. They just keep putting it out there.
I don't even care if it's true to the comic books or true to the animated series. Everything that was the premise of this movie was a cool idea.
Yes.
It was a cool diversion. It's kind of like you say with Marvel. They take a little bit of this. They take a little bit of that.
I agree with that, yeah.
But they just didn't know how to wrap it up into a complete package.
Yeah.
Let's just throw a bunch of shit at the wall and see what happens.
I completely agree with you, and I think that's a great place to leave it on. Is there anything else that you guys want to mention?
No.
I got some tweets.
Let's tweet.
Okay.
Let's tweet.
Flash cameos for no reason. Starting off light. You know, just, who are these people?
This is sensible chuckle.
Yes. If WB made No Way Home, Peter Parker needs to help Bruce Banner, which leads him to meeting Eric Bana's Hulk. Ironheart tags along. They fight Loki from Avengers 1 in a field and not in a city. CGI cameos of Stan Lee, Chadwick Boseman, Affleck's Daredevil, Cage's Ghost Rider, Chris Evans' Human Torch, Alba Sue Storm, Tom Cruise's Iron Man, and Leo DiCaprio's Spider-Man, but not Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. Edward Norton would be the new Hulk in the end. And there's also DC fans on the internet. But that's the problem, is that it's not just DC fans. You need the general movie-going audience to accept these films, too. The Flash earned $9 million from Thursday night previews at the domestic box office. This was the series of tweets that I saw happening in front of me. The Flash is tracking to have a lower global box office opening than Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania, which is weird because I think this movie is marginally better than that.
It is better. Yeah, Ant-Man is garbage.
I would put them on par.
So when this is the best live action comic movie of 2023, then what? Saw this tweet and absolutely refused to let it happen. Quick, everyone, watch Rise of PAK again to make it more embarrassing. James Gunn chose Andy Muschietti to direct Batman the Brave and the Bold after watching The Flash. Andy's affinity and passion for these characters in this world just resonates through every frame. There was really only one choice. I need every celebrity who endorsed the Flash movie on fucking trial right now. Just watch The Flash and damn, the tears in my eyes, the plot, the themes, the characters, the dynamics, the costumes, the drama, the lore, the emotional moments. Everything was garbage from beginning to end. One on the highway to the hospital. Definitely the worst movie I've ever seen.
Stop.
James Gunn's big plan to reinvent DC. Hire the same filmmakers the last regime did.
My God.
Banger. Will Ezra Miller be returning as the Flash? This would be a ruinously bad and irresponsible choice for the DCE. So yes, most likely. David Zaslav calls the Flash the best superhero movie he's ever seen.
I haven't
Who let
seen
bro
that
cook?
Who Let Bro Cook thing yet.
I swear, if they do this, man, how they did the people in the Flash, I'm a snap. Like, but it crossed my mind. It was just like, the opportunity for this can still happen again. Like, it was me, Barry. I was one who reversed the video of the baby out of the microwave and posted it on Twitter, so I thought you'd look like an asshole. Because I've seen plenty.
So many people.
I've seen that video a lot of Barry putting the baby in the microwave.
Screaming.
Yeah.
Honestly, everyone's like, I'm not going to see The Flash. Can someone just tell me why he's putting a baby in a microwave?
I haven't seen The Flash, but my hot take is that maybe a version of Batman created for the Tim Burton universe shouldn't be shown out in the desert in broad daylight.
That's a good point.
So Blue Beetle's next, huh?
This is actually you right
Trying
now.
to figure out why the Flash says, "Okay, Barbie, let's go party." It's one of life's great mysteries, sir.
Have you guys seen? I saw on the subreddit "Movie Leaks and Spoilers" that they should consider Tom Cruise for Batman for the reboot.
He's being courted right now to do a DC project.
That would be something. And somebody's like, he would do all his own stunts and do Batman shit. That'd be not that I endorse this idea. But
He would make a good movie.
No, dude, he can't be Batman. He's fucking 5'6", okay?
He's a manlet.
Okay? He's going to show up, and they're going to throw one punch at his forehead, and he's going to die. He's going to bleed out. Okay? His frontal lobe will crash into his brain and will literally cause brain
he'll
matter
lose his middle tooth
to
like
come
the Flash.
out of his nose.
I don't know
okay?
how, but Tom Cruise
Not
will
even
hear this,
Scientology
and
will
we are
bring him
going to
back.
get a letter.
Yep.
I hope.
Something's
This
going to
is-
happen.
Hey, listen, I'm a fan of Tom Cruise. I'm upset that Mission Impossible is only playing in one weekend for IMAX. You know what I mean? I feel you on that, but
Damn, man.
also
Maybe
like
push your release back.
you're not
Maybe.
Batman. Like you just aren't playing Batman. I could see like Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. That's a good fit. You know,
Nah, he can play Alfred in like 10 years.
he could, or he could play Green Lantern right now.
I don't want
You got to
that.
remember, he's Scientology 56, so he's really like 38. You know what I mean? Like he's super young.
Dating levels
Shit,
are off
I'm
the
older
charts.
than him.
You are. He actually stopped aging, and
all that
so we're just
adrenochrome.
we're just passing by him.
Yeah,
Trying to
it'll
slip
fill
that
you
into
up.
every
Yeah,
episode
yeah. Seems to come up quite a lot. Okay, so
Our new gutters.
all right. So I guess
I'm glad we took a break.
Was that
Everyone
note-
seems
Anything
in
else?
Was
no.
that note
Everyone's
that
in
you
much
had?
better spirits now. Everyone was
Anything-
really cranky.
anything else for the Flash before we kick this can down the road forever? Because by the way, you guys, it's over now. Speculation of the Flash, waiting for the movie. Is this gonna be the one for DC?
Until
the
we get
questions
a
have been
director's
answered.
Cut.
That would be
Because
something.
there is a 4-hour version of this. There is, isn't there?
I
They
can't wait.
confirmed it, and
Well,
Andy
Machete
Mus-
said he likes this
he
better.
likes this better, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think there are fans of this movie. But
Which
if,
ending would it get?
You get to pick your own one at the end of it. It's kind
It's
of
like Bandersnatch.
yeah, the Flash just like comes up as a little Flash animation, and he's like, select your ending.
You
which
know,
will
like,
make
it's like a shoving
Hey,
buddies.
I sorry
Yeah.
to bother you guys. Which ending would you like to see?
And if you fell asleep before this, he just taps on the glass. Hey, can you wake up and can you figure this out? It's like on a loop.
you got kids in there I can kidnap.
He's like, I'm gonna choke the shit out of you.
Do you guys have this memory that I do, where my dad would fall asleep on the couch watching a DVD, and it would reset to the intro scene selection scene, and you'd hear the same audio loop
Yep.
of 1 minute for eternity until he woke himself up snoring.
That's what I'm saying. Is
The
that they'll
classic
program it
movie.
in because
Yeah,
they know
yeah.
people are gonna fall asleep.
The
They're-
movie
This
menu.
is the Ezra Miller movie they want to see, man.
yeah.
Oh no.
He doesn't really grab her throat though, does he?
I mean,
Yeah,
she
just
grabs-
her
She's,
neck.
she's
he
got
grabs
a
her, yeah, her.
Yeah, he grabs her like
And
shoulder.
then throws her on the ground.
It's not even really that hard, you know.
pat.
Yeah, she was asking for
Yeah.
it.
All right, I didn't say that.
Okay, hold
Both
on.
of you.
Calm down,
You know, but when
everybody.
you see this image, you're like, hey, it looks like he's roughing her up a bit, you know. but really when you see it in motion, it's like, yeah, he's.
In no way should
like,
he have
did
put
you-
his hands
On
on
anyone.
anyone.
Did you need a seat? Here, I'll help you out.
You look tired.
There you go.
All right.
Sleep
Clip
there.
of the week there.
I did actually before that. I did try to put something together of all of his controversies and be like, "This is the Flash movie I want to see," and like would have cut something together. But some of the shit that I read, I was just like, maybe this isn't that funny.
This is
Like,
getting a little
yeah,
too
choking
real.
somebody out in Scandinavia is fine. I'm okay with that. The terrorizing the people of Hawaii, the screaming at the cop while you're getting arrested, all that's fine to make fun of. There is accusations of him kidnapping and grooming a 17-year-old. And what was the other one? Not sexually, but like just to like.
He
but
was like, wasn't he like keeping kids like at a separate property?
No.
Not that.
He was like paying for some family in Vermont. That
Yes,
something
yes.
weird
Yeah,
they
it was
were
some
doing,
weird
yeah.
shit. Either way though, he was at the premiere and
I saw. They looked good. Yeah.
none of the press were allowed to ask him about any of that. He looked healthy because he hasn't looked, or they haven't looked healthy. I just said he a bunch, didn't I?
It's okay.
All right, whatever.
All good.
correct.
They looked healthy, and when they were talking to people, they didn't seem out of their mind.
No.
However, if any of these things, have there been investigations opened up in these things? You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. I've read some conflicting reports that these things are exaggerated. You don't know, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think that ultimately hurt the movie. Like, I think this was dead on arrival. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no
No one was like, I'm not going to see this because Ezra Miller's in it.
Yeah, everyone's like, I'm not seeing this because it
I'm
doesn't
sure there
look
were
very
people,
good.
but it's not like
The general.
I
people
saw
who don't
some-
follow movies like us probably don't.
I saw some
know
stuff
about
on
this.
Reddit on like r/movies. People were like, I'm not seeing that because fucking Ezra Miller's in it. That's the only time I ever saw that though. I did not see one person who's like in our sphere that was like, I'm not seeing this movie. But it's
Sphere.
one of those things that's
Our
like,
chronosphere.
are the diehard
Shem.
DC fans only worth $60 million?
Yes.
Because that
That's-
sees like to
Anybody
be the number.
who's still a diehard fan of this universe, you're not worth much.
Yeah. All right, Liz, hit the song.
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
Thank you.
I just
love you.
deafened myself. That was turned up so high on
sorry.
my end.
I forgot to set this up because I redid the thing. All right, there we go. Oh, this looks fun.
This is
Nick.
from fucking Severny.
It is for lovers. Oh, I like this. I like where this is going already.
This is straight out of that PUBG map.
Right? Remember when I drove off the side of the bridge the other day?
This truck has as much confidence as the Flash movie. thought it
Yes.
had.
Oh,
Oh no, he almost had it. He almost had it.
This is
That's
it.
it. That's it. Oh.
Oh!
Oh, I wasn't expecting that end.
That was satisfying.
It was.
Can you roll,
Dude.
can you roll when it breaks again? Because that was enjoyable to watch.
I thought he was just gonna
So
get
for
stuck.
those who are listening,
It's like that bridge builder
our man
game.
is going across. He's
know that one.
got a
Oh, you'd
truck
love
and he's
it.
going across a
would.
low hanging bridge, and I guess it was just too much.
Yeah, there's a flood.
Yeah, the fact that the bridge is already hanging down into the water without anything
Well, this
on
is
it.
some sort of flood. This isn't
Yeah.
normal,
No,
right?
no,
Right.
This is a
No.
flood.
Like this
but also the
bridge
fact
is
that it's
dis-
hanging rather than like straight across is
also,
worrying.
let's
But I
look
think
at that,
this-
let's look
It's
at
a
that
suspension bridge?
But that's
Maybe
what I'm saying.
It's made of like 2x4s.
Yeah. But that's the thing is I'm looking at this and I'm like, this thing is supposed to give a little bit in case a car comes across it. I'm not saying it's not engineered. It's engineered to do that, but it's certainly built that way.
Of course,
Like,
yeah, a truck.
but like,
It's made for a car.
but
to
it's
drive.
not built for a truck to drive over it and then have rushing water hit it at the same time.
Yeah.
Thus weighing it down more.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I think that seems to be the problem here, my man didn't keep his speed up. You
No.
know what I mean? He got, you can't play fast and loose with these things, You got
gotta
to
play
really hit the
fast.
gas,
Yeah, if there's a point here where it's like, okay, like if he kept this
Right
speed
there,
going,
I thought I had hope.
It looks like the water pushed him against the side rail,
it did.
Yeah.
for sure.
Isn't that
Wait.
snap?
Oh.
Douche.
and then he flips up 180 degrees.
Well, that's typically what happens in cars when you drive in. It flips upside down from the air pocket.
We're gonna assume he got out,
Yeah.
right? We're gonna assume that he.
Hold on, I want to hear that
Vacated.
pop again.
just warms the
Now, do they
cockles of your
save that
heart.
man? Like, what
Cockles.
happens next? Like,
That's a bunch of little
does that
kids.
man get an
So
insurance
what
payout?
you guys don't
The
see
company
off,
does,
What you,
you
guys
know?
don't see off screen is there's
Did he invest in crypto? Like,
there's
what
a
happened?
Nice, there's a nice man who saves them all, and everything's okay.
Nobody dies.
Yeah, we're gonna assume this man is okay after going.
And
in
he got free health care for the rest of his life, and you didn't have to pay taxes because look at this. Where are they going?
I don't
You
think
know?
they have taxes to pay. The bridge like that.
Seems like a roaring
There are not
economy.
civil engineers coming
Man,
out to
that
this.
is fucked up.
That's terrible.
Oof.
Oh God.
Man, you want to know what, Nick? This is a perfect allegory for the Flash movie. You know, just
Started
get it
off
to
strong.
yeah, you know,
Yep.
and it's just it's all the way down. You know,
Hit the rushing water of expectations below it.
and you just can't live up to them. You
And
can't get up
drowned.
over them
And drowned.
and drown. So, well, that was our review of the Flash. Everybody, I'm sorry it didn't go the way that we all thought it would go, but these things happen, you know. And
I got some more info on that clip.
oh, what happened?
The bridge was
died.
apparently a temporary structure to replace a road bridge that was destroyed in a previous flood. According to several news
That's
sites,
situational comedy
There we
right
go.
there.
several news sites
Soices.
say the driver reportedly survived.
But not a good
Okay,
life.
okay.
He did survive.
All right, good. I'm glad.
Not a good life.
Yeah, he's eating every meal through a straw now, but you know these things.
Oh
You know,
God.
He freed himself from the truck, so he has mobility.
Yeah.
it could be worse. Okay,
He could have to go see the
you could have had a
Flash.
great Hollywood career playing the greatest role of your lifetime, and then suffer a horrible tragedy, and then that same studio defiles your legacy and CGI's you in to their new summer blockbuster.
The Flash.
That could apply to multiple Supermen.
Everybody.
Anyway, so thanks so much, everyone. This is our review of The Flash. We will see you next week for, I don't know, but Indiana Jones is coming up soon, and I'm sure we'll hate that too. See you then. Goodbye.